As Niagara Falls and Batavia face off for the final time of the regular season, the stakes are higher than ever. The Americans have a playoff berth and a season series victory on the line. And the Muckdogs find themselves in a tight battle for the top spot in the West. Most of all, this game will serve as a preview of what's to come, with Luke Blandino and Luke Rising set to start exactly 5 days before the West semis. It's the Americans, it's the Muckdogs, it's PGCBL baseball right here on the Americans Baseball Network.
That the ace of the Giant pitching staff that season was Niagara Falls native Sal Magley. A league-low 2.71 earned run.
They chose Niagara Falls because of the stadium, because of the history, because they believe in Niagara Falls.
Tickets 716-215-6161.
And where do you play?
We play right at Sal Magley, gorgeous stadium.
Set the 1-0 to Boyle. Is hammered to right field.
Go, baby, go, baby. Go,
Come
baby,
here,
go,
fence.
Baby.
That ball is way out of here.
Welcome into Sal Magley Stadium. The Americans and Muckdogs facing off for the final time this regular season. And the stakes, as I mentioned in our intro, are higher than they've been all season long. A win and a Pioneers loss tonight, and the Americans can clinch a playoff berth. I'm Andrew Roberts. I'll be your play-by-play broadcaster, calling all the action tonight. And we'll have Avery vote with us later, but for now, we have a guest color commentator. For the first time this season, Frankie Morris, our social media manager, is joining the call. Frankie, how are you doing today?
I'm good, Andrew. How are you?
Pretty good, pretty good. I mean, got a great game ahead of us. What's the number one thing you're most looking forward to about this game?
I'm hoping we take the win tonight. It's a good playoff game. Well, game to get us into playoffs, so I'm hoping for a win.
I mean, the pitching matchup is certainly playoff caliber. You've got Luke Blandino, the best pitcher on the Americans, arguably, and then Luke Rising. I mean, he was a relief pitcher for the Muckdogs most of the season, but now transitioning back into that starter role like he was at RIT, and he's had 24 consecutive scoreless innings. A legitimate playoff starter for Batavia.
It's impressive. You know, the difference between baseball and softball is very different. I'm just looking forward to a good game and hopefully the win.
Yeah, for those of you listening who are unaware, Frankie Morris, a softball player at the college level. So some good insight, even if baseball is a little different. Enough similarities to make her a great addition here on the broadcast. But as we get started, we're going to take a look at the PGCBL standings and the stakes for tonight's game. Batavia and Jamestown are locked into the playoff field, but right now it's a tight battle for the West Division title, at least in the regular season. Batavia and Jamestown 1 game apart for the crown in the West. Americans in third place at 26-16, just a game and a half back from Jamestown. Auburn Doubledays knocking on the door as well. The Elmira Pioneers, the only team on the outside looking in that still has a chance at the playoffs. The Pilots are eliminated, Ironbacks are eliminated, and so are the Red Wings. Ironbacks and Red Wings are teams the Americans will play later this week, but the Americans don't want to wait that long to lock up their playoff berth. They have the chance to do it tonight. A win over Batavia and Jamestown winning over Elmira, the Americans are in. So how do you think that raises the stakes for tonight's game, Frankie?
The stakes are definitely high, but that doesn't mean we can't take home the win.
Definitely. I mean, Luke Blandino, last time against Batavia, had mixed results. Went 4 innings, just 2 runs allowed. Did have some walk troubles in the 4th inning, but he's coming into this just looking to get ahead in counts early. And, I mean, he acknowledges that Batavia has a good lineup 1 through 9, but just looking to keep attacking the zone like he has all season.
Yes.
Give you a look at the Batavia Muckdogs starting lineup. They'll be batting first as we are in Niagara Falls. Braden Horton in right field leading things off. Tyler Castrotaro, the shortstop, bats second. Cooper Fesh doing the catching, batting third. Jacob Vezko serving as the extra hitter in the cleanup spot. He's the hottest hitter in this Muckdogs order. Jackson Inman batting fifth, playing third. Sean Mindas in left field batting sixth. James Bolton, the DH, batting seventh. Justin Espinal, the switch hitter, playing first. Travis Hammond in center field, and Caleb Walker to round things out. So, I mean, this lineup, 1 through 10 in this case, it's just going to be a tough one to face, but I mean, the Americans have a great pitcher on the bump in Luke Blandino, so this is going to be peak PGCBL baseball right here, I think.
Yeah, this is going to be a really good game, especially both lineups have very good hitters, and both teams have good pitchers starting, so it's going to be a really good game.
The unfortunate news for the Americans in terms of hitters, Grant Moore, who's been the best hitter on the team through most of the season, he hurt his thumb against Jamestown on Friday. He was ruled out for the season. So an unfortunate break for the Americans, but unlike some of the other players who have gotten hurt, Grant Moore sticking with the team, going on the trips. He'll be here to cheer everyone on from the sidelines, possibly even get in as a first base coach. So Grant, I really feel that he's a great team player for the Americans.
He's definitely here supporting his team. He plays the game for a team and not just for himself, which is very important for any athlete.
Yeah, so I mean, I'd argue, even though Grant Moore won't be back on the field, his presence in the clubhouse is going to have a positive impact on the Americans down the stretch here.
100%.
Yeah, so unfortunately, the Americans down to 4 outfielders, if you count Connor Kiefer, who's been playing center for most of the stretch. Liam Schott, the 4th outfielder on the roster at this point. And then Shane Prey and Logan Stickler have been switching off in the DH spot. But Logan Stickler has mentioned the potential that he could get back in the infield before the season ends, his arm feeling a little better. So the Americans still have a couple of depth options in Schott and Stickler, but they're going to be running 9-batter lineups most likely the rest of the way, given they're down to 11 bats total.
And, I mean, having a 9-batter lineup isn't the worst thing. I mean, yeah, you got to get the bats going early, but looking at the lineup for today, we have a pretty stacked lineup, and all have very good instinct when it comes to at-bats. So
yeah,
I think we have some luck today.
I mean, Ian Wang and Shane Prey in particular, both in the lineup yesterday, both had multiple hits in yesterday's game. So their bats are at their hottest. Shane Prey managed to get his batting average back above 300 after it dipped under briefly. But, I mean, Prey has been one of the more consistent hitters on this team throughout the season.
Yeah, having that power and that speed in the lineup is a very good advantage for us.
Yeah, I like what we're seeing with this Americans lineup. We'll give you all a look at the lineup. We've been talking about it. Might as well show everyone who's watching. Alan Ramos, the shortstop, leading things off. Connor Kiefer was there yesterday, but moves down after an 0-for-6 night. Ian Huang batting second, playing second. Gavin Boyle in left field leads the team with 3 homers. Braden Miller, the cleanup hitter at first base. Shane Prey, 2-hit game yesterday, DH again tonight. Chris Gazaldo batting sixth and playing third base. He had the walk-off the last time Batavia was here. Nick Pass doing the catching, batting seventh. Connor Kiefer in center field batting eighth. And Carmen Pinaro to round things out. And got a meeting between the umpires and managers on the mound right now. Paul Wolf, with a busy schedule, managing his daughter's softball teams, managing the Buffalo Diesel. Hasn't been able to make every game, but when he's been here, it's made a difference. The Americans at their best when they have both Wolf and Cordero coaching those bases and in the dugout.
Yes, they're both very good coaches. They know the game very well. Clearly with Wolfie coaching 3 teams, but and
baseball
Cordero,
and softball. He's versatile. And
baseball
Cordero,
and softball, yeah.
former major leaguer.
Yeah. So we have 2 very good coaches who know the game very well. So it's looking good for us.
Got comments in the chat for Grant Moore MVP. We'll see what the league has in store at the end of the season. I mean, unfortunate missing that last week kind of hurts the MVP momentum, but he led the league in stolen bases for much of the season, led the league in average for a good part. Those are things that are going to be taken into account. So there's still
Definitely.
a shot.
Between his character on the field, obviously with me being social media manager, I spend a lot of time communicating with the athletes, and Grant is by far one of the most respectful baseball players I've met.
Yeah, I mean, there's a reason. Gave out intern awards over the weekend, over this past week, and Graham Moore, the only player who received awards from Can USA Sports themselves.
Yeah.
But Chris Gazzaldo and Graydon Miller also with all-star nods, as well as 3 pitchers, including the starter Luke Blandino. So lots of all-stars across the roster. Gavin Boyle had his player of the week. So the Americans have been getting their flowers today on the PGCBL Instagram, a big takeover. Frankie, you'll be a part of that later in the game.
We do have a takeover today. We have Brady Tony doing the player, and then I'm going to be filming some big moments, and hopefully some of the guys will work with me well today. And
yeah, that would be good. And an extra special day tomorrow when we're all going to get to play against Power City Athletics, an intern game here at Sal Magley. We'll have the coverage here on the Americans Baseball Network. I'll start things off and then hand it over to a couple of Americans players. We'll leave that a mystery for the time being. But tomorrow, 6:30 p.m., tune in. And, I mean, there's a reason I usually stick to broadcasting, but it'll be fun to get out there and hopefully not strike out every time.
I'm excited, but I'm also a little nervous because it's very different. Baseball and softball, 2 very different sports. Even though they might be close to the same sport, they're 2 very different release points from the pitcher. So hopefully I get some hits.
As a hitter in softball and a corner infielder, used to a different pitching motion. So
yeah,
going
it's
to be an adjustment
different.
Seeing live pitches. But at the same time, I mean, you can hit it.
Hopefully I can hit the ball. I think what's mainly going to mess with me is the leadoff before the pitch.
Yeah, that's possible. Well, the real question is who's going to be in that leadoff spot tomorrow. Graham Moore's held it down most of the season. So.
Yeah. Hopefully not me.
I mean, my money would be on Teddy Yo, who's actually played baseball even at the college level, but at the same time, he's never let off in his career, so more of a two-hitter, he says.
I'm not sure how this lineup's going to go because I know Cordero wants the interns to take BP and go from there with lineup, so we'll see how things end up.
Yeah, something tells me Teddy will be in a prime spot, but we'll see what happens. Teddy Yo, the box office manager for the Americans, a pitcher for Ithaca College, and now a pitcher for the Scarborough Stingers this past summer.
Yeah, I know the guys are very excited to watch us play. I don't know if that's because it's going to be funny or...
Maybe because they're getting a day off for once.
Maybe that could be why as well.
All right, we will pause here on the broadcast for the national anthem. Apologies for any lag here on the broadcast. Very hot day outside, impacting the camera. But we'll stick through and have this broadcast right now. Pausing for the national anthem. We'll be right back. Welcome back here on the Americans Baseball Network. We'll have action any second with Luke Blandino on the bump, but first, Whitley Nichols taking the mound. The operations manager here at the Americans. Thank you, Whitley, for the opportunities this summer and a great first pitch. So, I mean, none of us would be here without Whitley, so great to see her throwing out the pitch, Frankie.
I love Whitley. She helps a lot around here. She helps a lot with us interns. She does so much to help us all know
Yeah, I
what we
couldn't
wanna
ask
do.
for a better boss.
100%. Her and Emma put so much work and effort into this team, into this program.
And Emma came out for another first pitch on her birthday, so they've each had their share on the mound. We'll introduce you to the starting pitcher for the rest of the game. It's Luke Blandino. A 4-0 record, a 3.16 ERA, and 26 strikeouts. And this is another D3 product out of WPI. So these pitchers, Blandino and Rising, they may be Division III hurlers, but they are some of the best in the PGCBL, both at tech schools in D3, WPI and RIT respectively. A lot of similarities between these two.
Definitely. And a lot of people who are athletes are very much D1 or nothing, but going to a division, I went to a Division I last year, and I'm going to a Division II next year. It's really just on your ability, but not only your ability, it's more of what you want to do. I know I pick a school, being a college athlete, I picked my school on if I wasn't able to be an athlete anymore, would I still like the school?
Yeah, I think that's a great way to look at things, especially there are a few that get drafted into professional sports, but then for everyone else who's playing sports, it's all about what other options are out there once graduation comes and once the playing career is over. So
yeah.
But I mean, the Americans have had their share of drafted players. Matt Barr getting drafted after being on the roster to start this season. Did not get the chance to pitch here in Niagara Falls, but a great player going over to the Minnesota Twins.
Yeah, I'm very excited for
Representing this
Matt
team.
Barr. Growing up with him, it's always been his dream. That's all he's ever really talked about.
Luke Blandino set to face Braden Horton. We are underway, and it's a low strike one to start us off. Braden Horton in Division I himself, a product of Oklahoma, and I mean, building on this summer, if he can come back and have a better year at OU, he might have a chance to get some draft buzz.
100%. OU is a great school.
Big cut and miss right there, and it's 0-2 to him. So this, well, there are some great hitters in both lineups. I'm expecting a pitcher's duel here tonight because this is a battle of two pitchers who are likely to start in the West semifinals coming up. It's 5 days before that. That's normal rest for these pitchers. The 0-2 right here is fouled off to the left side. So Horton stays alive. He's always going to make for a tough at bat. He's walked a lot this season, and it's really helped his numbers. He's batting .351 with a .1061 OPS. Just unbelievable for Batavia, their best hitter. Blandino looking for that final strike anyways. It's outside for a ball. Horton showing his patience, hanging in there. He was down 0-2 to start this count. Does not matter. Still anyone's at bat. Blandino ready for the 1-2 pitch. Breaking ball stays outside, and it's even at 2-2. Just like that, what was once an 0-2 hole for Braden Horton, he's worked his way back. Really battling here.
Yeah, I mean, having a good hitter that has a very good eye on what pitch is coming as your leadoff hitter is very important because you need base runners early in the game.
Oh, definitely. And right now, Braden Horton looking to get on base. It's a pop-up to the left side. Gazaldo moving over into foul territory. Gazaldo makes the grab for out number 1. So the Muckdogs have their best hitter retired in foul territory. And Tyler Castrotaro will bat next. Another D1 product here, Hofstra University. 792 OPS over there, 838 in the PGCBL. This was as a freshman, played a ton over at Hofstra. Another Muckdog with a bright future. Big cut and miss here. He's swinging for the fences early, but Blandino gets him to chase. 1 strike, 1 out. The 1 pitch. Fouled off on a rocket down the first base line. A little earlier on that contact. Could have been extra bases for Castrotaro.
You know, staying in the count. You got to stay prepared for any pitch that could be coming.
Absolutely. And Castrotaro making some great contact there. He was prepared, but unfortunately another strike on the count here. Blandino, 1 strike away from retiring Tyler Castrotaro. Breaking ball goes upstairs. Like Blandino getting ahead in these counts early, then he's a little more careful to attack because these are great Muckdogs hitters. If he puts it right over the plate with 2 strikes, that's going to get swung at, and there's likely going to be some good contact made. But 1 and 2 right here. Line drive right to Ramos. He raises his glove to make the catch. Nice play by Allen, and it's 2 down for Batavia. Luke Blandino looking for a clean first inning. Cooper Fesh up next. Keystone College product. First D3 on D3 matchup of the game here. First pitch from Luke to him is up and away. And different spellings, but it's a Luke-on-Luke pitching matchup in this game. Blandino and Rising, both some of the best on their respective teams. Blandino up 1-0 here. Another one up and away. So this count, the first one going in the hitter's favor early of this game. Cooper Fesh looking to keep it up and get on base. There's a fly ball into right field. Pinaro chasing it down. It's going to drop fair, but it's caught for out number 3. 1-2-3 inning to start things off for Luke Blandino. We'll give you a reminder of the Americans lineup as well as the Muckdogs starting pitcher when we're back in the bottom of the first.
My fellow American fans, my name is Frankie Morris, your social media manager. You can join us all summer long with many promotional nights and tickets just as low as $10. You can call and get tickets at 716-215-6161 and take a crack at the action.
Back for the bottom of the first. Alan Ramos first up to face the Muckdogs starting pitcher, Luke Rising. Rising, a 107 ERA on the season. As ball one on Allen here, but Rising for most of the year for these Muckdogs was a reliever, was on a pitch count. But now, transitioning for the playoffs back into the starting role that he was in at RIT, and he has been dominant. 24 consecutive scoreless innings. Just an unbelievable player for Batavia. Count is even on Allen. Now takes a strike low. Frankie, Alan Ramos, one of the fastest players on the team. If he can get on base, instantly a threat to steal.
Definitely. Let's just hope. Whoa, I was really inside.
Yeah, has to dodge it, and it's 2-2. I mean, if he gets hit, that's one way to get on base. Not ideal, but
I mean,
does the job. And hits it right down the line, foul. Staying alive here with the even count.
Yeah, I'm hoping the rest of our lineup can get ahead of the count early. Maybe get some walks, a lot of hits. I'm hoping for a lot of hits tonight.
That is going to help the Americans. Oftentimes struggle when they don't take batting practice. They were somewhere in between today. Not BP on the field, but in the cages as a team. I'd like to say that counts. Swing and a miss. Alan Ramos goes down hacking. Luke Rising with his first strikeout of the day and just one batter faced. And I mean, this is not an easy pitcher to face, but the Americans have to find their ways to get on.
Oh, it looks like Ian's going lefty today. Or at least for his first at-bat.
Ian Wang, a switch hitter. So batting lefty to face the right-handed pitcher.
Being a switch hitter is impressive to me. I've always been a lefty hitter on the field, but on occasion I try to swing left or righty. Doesn't work out too well.
The breaking ball stays outside, but yeah, I mean, it's hard to do anything ambidextrous. Hitting more common than other things, but there's a liner down the third base line for a base hit. Ian Wang headed towards second now, trying for the double. It'll be close on the throw, and he is out. Ian Wang, a single, but out on the throw, ambitious in trying for second base, but it costs him right there. I mean, we've seen that with Graydon Miller, but that's a first for Ian.
I don't think he was expecting the left fielder to get that ball in as quick as he did.
Sean Mindas, a great cutoff of one that was headed towards the wall. A pretty fast speed. Gavin Boyle takes the curve for strike one. Luke Rising with some nasty breaking balls. And it's showing early in this game. There's a fastball, and Boyle smokes it into center field for a base hit. These Americans hitting the ball well early. But Wang was tagged out at second. Gavin Boyle, the first base runner, staying on for Niagara Falls. So 2 down, 1 on for Graydon Miller. And he's looking to break out of his slump.
Yeah, let's hope these Americans can keep the bats going with 2 outs. Get a little rally going.
Definitely. Graydon Miller, a .315 hitter. That's one of the best on the Americans. Was 3 for 4 the last time Batavia came here. Not quite the same results in Batavia, but 1-0 to him here on the outside pitch. It's also somewhat high. Miller takes a breaking ball on the low edge. It's 1-1. Graydon, a second-year American. Him and Gavin Boyle both came back from last year's roster, and they've been the heart of this order most of the year. Miller, a fly ball into center field. Hammond moving over to the right side, makes the grab for out number 3. So the Americans with some nice contact, but doesn't amount to anything here. We'll send it to the top of the second after the break.
Fans, if you've been to a game, you know that I give away pizza to a lucky fan in the middle of the 3rd inning. But what you might not know is that Sammy's is located right across the street. They've also been family owned and operated for 3 generations since 1962 and originated the half tray of pizza. But if you're hungry at the game, you can stop by the concession stand and get a slice of Sammy's for yourself.
We bring you back for the top of the second inning. The second inning brought to you by Bully Hill Vineyards, a great place to grab lunch and taste over 40 different wines. Go to bullyhillvineyards.com for more. Andrew Roberts back with Frankie Morris, Jacob Vezko, Jackson Inman, and Sean Mindas due up to face Luke Blandino this inning. Another 3 great hitters for Batavia. This whole top 7, either with batting averages over 300 or OPS is over 700. Some dangerous hitters. Gets a little bit weaker down the stretch of the lineup, but Justin Espinal has done very well against these Americans. Gotten the nickname American Killer here on the broadcast. But first up, Jacob Vezko, product of Dayton. The hottest hitter on the Muckdogs right now. His average up above 300 after a slow start to the season. Swing and a miss. Blandino gets Vezko to chase on the low pitch. 302 hitter, 801 OPS. And moved up in this order accordingly. The 0-1 fouled off to the right side.
Ball.
Yeah, that's a long one. What's interesting, Skip Martinez making some significant changes to the lineup today. Pretty much been the same top 6 the last few times the Americans have seen the Muckdogs. Everyone in the top 7 except Vezko has been there, but Vezko moving up, Sean Mindas moving down, a lot of shuffling around after 2 straight Muckdogs losses. It's now 1-2 after the high ball. But Jacob Vezko among those lineup changes, usually in the bottom half of the order today in the cleanup spot. Blandino readies for the 1-2 pitch. Swing, and he went rare for strike 3. It was not a full swing, but it's enough to call the strike. And Luke Blandino has his first strikeout of the day just like that.
It's a big strikeout.
And catcher briefly lost the baseball. Nick passed. Not needing to make the throw to first base, though. Vezko realized he didn't have a chance. But Jackson Inman up next. And unlike Vezko, Jackson Inman in a bit of a cold spell here. Batting average down to 299 and 831 OPS. 22 RBIs, but a lot of those coming before the last time these teams faced off.
Blandino's doing a very good job of getting ahead of the count pretty early. So that's also very helpful.
Yeah, and to dice up this part of the order, it's ones across the board now, but this is a part of the order Blandino was struggling with the last time he faced the Muckdogs. This time around, so far, a much different story. Americans hoping Blandino can keep it up and go significant innings in this game. Swing and a miss for strike 2 here. Blandino capped at 4 innings last time around. Possible that he won't go 6 like usual today, especially trying to stay fresh for the playoffs. But, I mean, if Blandino can get 5 innings in, I'd consider that a success. 1-2 pitch is grounded
And
right to Ramos
Allen.
at short. The throw in time for out number 1. Alan Ramos been spotless at short. The only time that I've really seen a struggle from him at the position was against the Buffalo Diesel, and that was just a wonky game all around.
Yeah, everybody was off that day. And it happens. Off days are very rare with our schedule, but
Yeah.
coaches are definitely helping out.
I mean, Shane Prey certainly had no problem against his former team. 2 hits in that game. Breaking ball for strike 1 on Sean Mindas. Mindas had his batting average above 400 into July, but it's down to 330 with a 784 OPS. Second-year Muckdog in left field most of the last 2 seasons. And it's another grounder. This time Gazaldo picks it up on the dribbler down the third base line. Throw in time. Another 1-2-3 inning. Luke Blandino is on fire. Can he keep it up? We'll find out when we're back in the top of the third. But first, the Americans up. Shane Prey to kick things off. Frankie, thank you so much for coming on the broadcast.
Thanks for having me, Andrew.
And when we are back, bottom of the second, Shane Prey due up first. We'll go to break.
No, I'm kind of thirsty.
Me too. We could really use something.
Yeah. Oh, thanks.
Yankee Doodle Dan.
That's better.
Back for the bottom of the second inning, Shane Prey, followed up by Chris Gazaldo and Nick Pass to face Luke Rising and a familiar face at first base. Grant Moore, the first base coach, after getting checked out in Ohio for his injury. Now coming back to the team, out for the season as a player, but as a coach and as a presence in the clubhouse, going to make plenty of impact. Ball and a strike on the count here. Shane Prey, one of the hottest hitters on the team right now, batting .311. Fouls that off to make it 1-2. So Frankie Morris, glad to have her for the first inning and a half. Avery Vogt will be back with us later in the game. Filling in on the DJ stand for the time being, but a pop-up onto the right side of the infield, now headed towards the outfield, but tracking it from second base. Caleb Walker makes the grab. It's 1 down. Chris Gazaldo up next. And this is a familiar spot for him. Gazaldo against these very Muckdogs here in Niagara Falls with the walk-off knock. But today, looking to snap out of a slump. 276 hitter, 686 OPS, was named a midseason All-Star for the Americans and takes one way inside, a close shave for ball 1. Just what you'd expect here at the barbershop. But Luke Rising looking for a 1-2-3 inning here. It's a foul ball, but one's across the board to Chris. Gazaldo, a product of Panola College. Both Panola players that remain on the team for the Americans were PGCBL midseason All-Stars. Hudson Boring gave the Americans 5 scoreless out of the pen yesterday. Gazaldo fouls another one off to make it 1-2. But Hudson Boring, I'd argue, was the MVP of last night's extra innings win over the Newark Pilots. I mean, the go-ahead run was scored on a drop strike 3, but Hudson Boring holding down the Pilots for 5 innings straight after they scored 4 runs in the first 5 was impressive. Line shot into right field, and it's caught by Braden Horton for out number 1. So Gazaldo making some nice contact, but he's retired for out number 2, and Nick Pass up next. Pass moves up a spot compared to yesterday's lineup in the 7 hole after batting 8th before Alan Ramos yesterday. Connor Kiefer's on deck. Carm Panaro in the hole to round out this order. Strike one on the low edge there. Nick passed. 225 hitter, 721 OPS. Another cut and miss to make it 0-2. Luke Rising one strike away from getting out of this inning in 1-2-3 fashion. Can he do it and get his second K of the day? It's inside. Put the first ball on the count for Nick. Nick passed. He's had family here frequently. Jason Moynihan, his dad, coming to perform the national anthem at a few games. Check swing, but pulled back in time and taken inside to put twos across the board. Nick Pass battling after the early two-strike count. Passed. 2-2 pitch is just outside. Count filled up and in Pass' favor. He's the final hope in this inning. Luke Rising looking to get out of this without a base runner, but Mick Pass trying to get on for a walk or even a hit by pitch. It's been hit a lot this season, 15 times in total. It's a pop foul, goes out of play. Was chased down by Espinal, the first baseman. Justin Espinal with the final two putouts at the top of the second. Groundouts from short and from third. Jackson Inman and Sean Mindas retired. And that's in there for strike three. Nick Pass goes down looking. We'll send it to the top of the third after the break. The Americans go down 1-2-3. Only one inning total in this game between these two teams that hasn't had that outcome. We'll send it to the top of the third after the break.
Fans, if you've been to a game, you know that I give away pizza to a lucky fan in the middle of the third inning. But what you might not know is that Sammy's is located right across the street. They've also been family owned and operated for 3 generations since 1962 and originated the half tray of pizza. But if you're hungry at the game, you can stop by the concession stand and get a slice of Sammy's for yourself.
We bring you back for the top of the third. Shane Prey warming up with Luke Blandino as Nick Pass just came up to bat. Should be back soon behind the dish. James Bolton, Justin Espinal, and Travis Hammond due up for the Muckdogs. I mean, if Luke Blandino can get through Batavia's top 6, a good sign that he'll do well against the bottom of Batavia's order. Caleb Walker, the 10-hitter. Only one of those bottom 4 not officially due up in this inning. Bolton, James Bolton, to kick things off in this third inning. 300 batting average and a 775 OPS on the season. Has been in that Muckdogs top 6 most of the year, but Jacob Vezko sliding him down to the 7 hole by moving up in the order. And this hot streak for Vezko has spanned almost a couple of weeks now. Jacob Vezko started the season with an OPS under 700 through the first month. And it was really after the 4th of July, the 3-game series between these two teams, that Vezko started to pick things up. Now a 300-800 line on the year. First pitch is popped up in foul territory, goes out of play behind the plate. Drops right in front of the press box. Felt the ripple at my feet. Blandino, with the count in his favor, throws one high to even things up. Dino looking to continue his excellent start to the day with another 1-2-3 inning. Second one fouled off down the first base line. Luke Blandino getting these counts in his favor early, as he anticipated. Can he finish the job on this at-bat for his second strikeout of the day? Already struck out the Muckdogs cleanup man, Jacob Vezko. To strike out a hot bat like that, a very impressive feat. Blandino with the 1-2 pitch, fouled off again. Bolton stays alive. Both of these strikes have come on foul balls, so if James Bolton can keep working this count, keep fouling pitches off, can stay alive, and eventually one's going to go fair. Skip Martinez coaching third base per usual. The Muckdogs manager bounces in the dirt to make it 2-2. Luke Blandino with the count even. Tosses the 2-2, and it's chopped foul. James Bolton, the Cortland product, one of two SUNY Cortland players in the West Division alongside Nolan Smith, the Tarpskunks first baseman. Far from the only Cortland student involved here in the PGCBL. Two in the press box right now, the scorer Riley Drew Cross and the Muckdogs color commentator Luca. Both recent Cortland grads. Big shout out to Riley for keeping all the stats in check for the Americans all season long. 2-2 pitch is dropped low to fill up this count. A reminder that the third inning is sponsored by Greater Niagara Federal Credit Union, Geico of Buffalo, Sammy's Pizza, and McDonald's. The Americans score 3 runs in this game. Free McCafe frappes for everyone in the stands. Here's the payoff pitch, and it drops low. It's ball 4. So that breaks up the perfecto for Luke Blandino in the third inning. James Bolton, the first base runner for the Dogs. Justin Espinal, better known here on the broadcast as the American Killer because he's torn up this Americans team all season long. 276 hitter, 713 OPS. And I'll give you another look at that Muckdogs lineup headed into this at-bat. Blandino, a first pitch drops low. It's 1-0. Espinal with the count in his favor early. There's a high fly ball into right center field. Panara moving over from right and now coming in to make the grab for out number 1. Bolton held up at first base. Travis Hammond up next. Luke Blandino looking to keep this game scoreless. Give the Americans the chance to score first in the bottom of the third inning. Travis Hammond, 258 hitter with a 712 OPS. His bat beginning to warm back up after a strong start to the season. A little cold in the middle stretch for the Muckdogs, and it's 1-0. Travis Hammond, the center fielder for Batavia. Recent grad of St. Xavier University in the second year in Batavia this season. Takes a ball just outside, rather. Puts the count in his favor early. Showing the patience at the plate. Mindos and Hammond were outfield staples a season ago for Batavia. Same deal again this year. Jacob Vezko spent a lot of time in right field, the extra hitter in this game, though. As Braden Horton has played a lot in right, but a swing and miss for strike 1. Horton can also play first base. But with Jackson Inman, the everyday third baseman, it's had Justin Espinal playing first a lot, keeping Horton in the outfield. Especially against these Americans when Espinal is at his best. And it's strike 2 on the low edge. Luke Blandino fighting in this count. He has not given up on this at-bat just yet. Force out available at first base. Chance to get 2 outs here potentially and keep it at the minimum batters faced. 2-2 pitch. Low and away to fill up this count. Blandino looking to avoid putting on a second base runner in this game. Hammond steps back in. Blandino set for the payoff pitch. He delivers, and it's low for ball 4. That's 2 full count walks for Luke Blandino this inning. 2 ducks on the pond for Caleb Walker's at bat. The Muckdogs threatening for the first time in this 3rd inning. Caleb Walker, the second baseman in today's game, filling in for Omar Carreras, who had a little hot streak going last week but has cooled off since. 230 hitter, a 611 OPS, and 12 RBIs. He is also a second-year Muckdog. Connor Kiefer, his Alfred State teammate, is out in center field. They shared the middle infield back at school, and it's a swing and a miss for Walker. Strike 1 on him. Walker and Kiefer, despite the fact that they play together at school, have never played together in 2 years in this league. Kiefer played in Jamestown a year ago and now here in Niagara Falls. Walker on Batavia for 2 straight summers. Both of them looking for their 2nd straight playoff appearance in this league. And runners thought about taking 2nd and 3rd, but Nick Pass got back to that one quickly. 1s across the board as Caleb Walker steps back in. But Caleb Walker has already locked up a 2nd straight playoff appearance. Connor Kiefer looking to secure it tonight, help the Americans to victory. Well, the Pioneers have to lose to seal the deal for Niagara Falls in addition to an Americans win. It's 2-1 on the outside, high ball from Blandino. Luke Blandino, his 8th start of the season. That's the most on the American squad. Keegan Bazinet a close second with 7. Bazinet will tie him right back up in due time. 2-1 pitch is low, but finds the low edge of the zone. 2's on the count with 1 down and 2 ducks on the pond. It's Bolton, the lead runner at 2nd. Travis Hammond right behind him, and Hammond with some blazing speed, but Bolton in his way of taking a base. Unless Bolton can steal 3rd. Blandino checks back on Bolton. Now the 2-2 pitch is fouled off. Just a brief piece of it allows the Muckdogs hitter Walker to stay alive. If Luke Blandino cannot get 2 outs here, he'll face Braden Horton for the 2nd time today before this inning's end. Americans have Kiefer, Panaro, and Ramos due up in the bottom of the inning. Blandino, the 2-2 pitch is popped up foul territory. Nick Pass not going chasing for that one. Drops behind the plate out of play. Blandino steps back on the bump. 2 on, 1 out. The out came on a fly ball to right field. Panaro has caught 2 flyouts in this game. Another foul down the left side this time around. This is getting to be a long at bat. Luke Blandino is at 47 pitches. It's a 7-pitch at bat. It's top of the 3rd inning. That's a high pitch count. with just one down as well. And a swine foul again. Blandino's out, is going to have to wait. This has now spanned 8 pitches in the at-bat. Walker looking to push it to double digits, get Blandino above 50. Blandino checks on second again, now delivers on the 2-2. It's up and away. Count all filled up. This will officially be a 10-plus pitch at bat. So Blandino getting tired out in this inning. Having some walk troubles, just how he did in the last matchup with Batavia. Came in the 4th inning last time, now in the 3rd. Just the first time through the order. Muckdogs, luckily for Blandino, have yet to score a run. 2-2 pitch is popped up. And that's in fair territory. Wang calling for it, makes the grab. Route number 2, everybody stays at their bases. But Braden Horton coming up for the second time today. This is a big threat at the plate. We'll see if he can do anything big here after popping out his first time up in foul territory. Horton 0 for 1 on the day, looking to change that. Frequent walker against the Americans. More frequent than even Caleb Walker himself. Up and away for ball 1. Bolton still the runner on second, as well as Hammond on first. 2 up. Or 2 on, 2 out, rather. Blandino ready for the 1-0 pitch. Checks on the base runner Bolton before pitching to Horton. Move down and in. And it's 2-0 to Braden. Comes from D1 Oklahoma. Has been tearing up this PGCBL. Very few Power 5 bats in the PGCBL West Division. Ben Slanker, another example, but didn't join the Tarp Skunks until late in the year. Unlike Horton, Slanker had amazing numbers in Division 1 this past season. A 300 hitter and 21 bombs at Ohio University. Now has the Louisville transfer to join the Power 5. But it's 3-0 right now to Braden Horton. A walk here would load the bases for Tyler Castrotaro. Deja vu for Luke Blandino, but finds the strike zone on the outside corner. Blandino's not dead yet in this at-bat. It's spanned 4 pitches thus far. Pitch count. It's up to 54. Here's the 3-1, and it drops at the feet of Braden Horton for ball 4. Bolton to third, Hammond to second, Braden Horton, the third base runner. They're all juiced up for Tyler Castrotaro. Blandino meets with Nick Pass, looking to get his command of the strike zone right here. And it's hard to strike that balance against Batavia, because if you attack the zone too much, this is a team that's making hard contact. But at the same time, if you're not attacking it at all, you're risking balls, you're risking walks, and you're risking bases loaded. Now, there's nowhere to put Tyler Castrotaro, who lined out to shortstop his first time up. Castrotaro, the Muckdogs' own shortstop, hitting it to Ramos. Blandino. First pitch bounces in the dirt, but everybody stays at their bases. Nick Pass moving over to hold on to the baseball. But a 1-0 count. Nick Pass, for the most part this season, has avoided pass balls despite his name. Castrotaro came in batting .336. He's 0 for 1 today. Bases are all juiced up with the ball on the count. Line shot down the first base line, foul to even things up. Blandino has the count even. 2 1-2-3 innings to begin this game. Now 3 walks in this inning to load up these bases. 1-1 pitch is upstairs, and it's 2-1. Dino has been excellent at forcing soft contact. At times has struggled to find the strike zone. A 2-1 pitch ready to go right here. Lined into left field and drops for the base hit. There goes the no-no as well. 2 runs score. The Muckdogs lead 2-0. Luke Blandino gives up his first runs. This has all come with 2 outs. A rough inning for Luke after 2 that have been spotless. A pair of RBIs for Tyler. The first 2 for Batavia. And the first hit of the day. Cooper Fesh bats next. Muckdogs have lost their last 2, but looking to turn the tides against the Americans. It's an outside ball 1 from Blandino. And the Muckdogs struggled at the plate in the last 2 innings, but now making some noise. They've had 4 base runners over the course of the inning. Bolton and Hammond coming around to score on the RBI knock by Castrotaro. Now it's him and Horton on the base paths. A threat for a double steal. Strike 1 on the inside corner. Cooper Fesh flew out to Panaro his first time up. Doing the catching for Batavia today. He's split time with Cooper Romick behind the dish. Blandino checks back at second, now delivers. And it's 2-1. Luke Blandino has given up 2 runs, 1 hit, 2 balls, 1 strike. Looking to turn the tides right here. 2-1 pitch is a ground ball picked up by Huang. Throw to Miller in time. That'll do it for the top of the 3rd.
No, I'm kind of thirsty.
Me too. We could really use something.
Yeah. Oh, thanks,
Yankee Doodle Dan.
That's better.
We bring you back for the bottom of the 3rd inning. We'll give you a look at the PGCBL at large. The Tarp Skunks lead 8-0 over the Pioneers. They're doing their end of the bargain for the Americans. Can the Americans come back? Auburn Double Days leading 5-0 as well. That's over Geneva. But the Tarp Skunks helping out the Americans in this playoff picture, and it's 0-1 to Connor Kiefer. A 1 pitch. Breaking ball finds the outside corner. Luke Rising. Those breaking balls have been working all day. Can he get his third K here on Kiefer? 0 for 6 night in Newark. Looking to recover today. An outside ball 1 here. Kiefer has generally taken advantage of his low spot in the order. An unexpected bat at times. Had a big hot streak at the start of July. 2-2 on the count to him. The Alfred State grad, a .325 hitter his senior year there. Now has the count at 2-2. Fly ball into right field. Foul territory, goes out of play. And Kiefer looking for the third Americans hit of the day with the count even. A little earlier on the contact there, could have had it. And that's going to be right to the shortstop, Castro on the ground ball, but the throw to first is not in time. Connor Kiefer with an infield single. Reached on the infield single against the Diesel. That was his last hit. Now, a hit against these Muckdogs to make him 1 for 1 on the day. Brings up Carmen Panaro with nobody out. The final hitter in this Americans order. Americans will turn it over to Alan Ramos before this inning's end. It's 1-0. Panaro. OPS of .712, despite some struggles with his batting average. Fly ball in foul territory to make it 1's on the count. 1 on first as well. Americans' magic number can go down to 1 if Elmira falls to Jamestown, regardless of the outcome of this game. But an Americans win in addition to that clinches them a playoff berth. Strike on the low edge to Carm Panaro. Tarp Skunks also looking to chase these Muckdogs for first place in the West Division. If the Americans clinch a playoff berth tonight, that also means it's a tie in first place. Swing and a miss for Panaro, though. 1 on, 1 out for the Americans. Alan Ramos up next. Ramos 0 for 1 on the day. Struck out his first time up. Luke Rising giving the Americans a rude awakening right out of the gate in this game. Ramos had the tying RBI knock last night against Newark. Foul ball to make it 0-1. The Americans scored their first 3 runs last night in the very first inning. But then the Pilots had 4 unanswered before the Americans scored the final 3 of the game, 2 of which came in extras. The 5th run scored on a drop strike 3. Connor Kiefer struck out, made it to first base, and the bases were juiced. Foul tip there makes it 0-2 on Ramos. No more wiggle room for Allen. Likely Division I player in the fall. He's a rising freshman. Uncommitted at the time, but was committed to Wagner, and unlikely he'd decommit for anything other than D1. The 0-2 pitch inside, some chin music for Ramos, makes him 1-2. The future D1 hitter facing the D3 hurler, Rising, and that hits Alan Ramos on the breaking ball. Pitch goes wild, and a breaking ball that's been working for strikes most of the evening hits Allen and gets him on base for the first time today. Ian Wang, been the Muckdog killer most of this season. 7 hits in 3 games against Batavia. Headed into tonight, and he picked up his 8th on the single in the very first inning. But he was tagged out at second base. Thought he had a double on the grounder down the line. But a nice cutoff by Sean Vindas prevented that. Has a runner to advance here. In fact, there's 2 runners on. Connor Kiefer on second, Ramos on first. Pair of speedsters. This is a double steal threat right here. Kiefer with some speed. Alan Ramos even faster right behind him, but it's 0-1 to Ian. A hit by Wang here could knock in Connor Kiefer from second. And a close pitch to Wang inside to put ones across the board. Ian Wang headed to St. Peter's in the fall. There's a chance Alan Ramos will join him there. Sharing the middle infield in Niagara Falls. They can potentially in the spring as well, but it's a ground ball down the third base line again. Wang this time smartening up, headed back to first base. But he knocks in a run and sends Ramos to third. It's 2-1. Muckdogs Americans cut the lead to 1. Ian Wang has a 2-hit game for the second straight day. His bat really starting to heat up, and who better to do it against than these Muckdogs? 9 hits in 4 games against Batavia. Have a day, Ian Wang. Gavin Boyle up next. With runners on the corners, it's Wang and Ramos. Potential teammates in the spring as well as right now with the Americans. 0-1 to Gavin. Pickoff attempt at first. Wang's safe. He has an open base. So even though he didn't get second on his hit down the line, exact same hit that he was able to get off in the very first inning. But even though he couldn't get his base on the hit, chance to steal it. It's a low ball 1 to put ones across the board to Gavin Boyle, who's also 1 for 1 on the day, looking at his second hit. 3 home runs on the year, a 4th homer would put the Americans up 4-2, and there's an errant throw on the pickoff attempt. Ramos comes in to score. It's a tie ball game. Ian Wang the second, 2-2. And now Gavin Boyle with a runner in scoring position and a tie ball game on top of it. Wang the runner on second. Ramos comes home. And still one's on the count. 1-1 pitch is popped up to the third baseman Inman. He makes the grab for out number 2. But Wang's still on second for Graydon Miller, looking to break out of his cold spell. And he has had enough of his slump. He's looking to break out of it. Has a runner on. Chance to knock him in. Fly ball into right field. That goes foul out of play. Strike 1. Americans out hitting the Muckdogs 4-1, but the score is tied after Luke Blandino walked a trio of batters in the third inning. Similar story thus far to the matchup between these teams on Tuesday evening here at the Barbershop. Blandino on the bump. A lot of walks, not a lot of hits allowed. And a close game that's primarily a pitcher's duel. This time around, a potential playoff pitching matchup preview. Miller fouls it off for strike 2, especially if the Tarp Skunks keep winning, take that 1 seed. Could be a 2-3 game between Batavia and Niagara Falls in the first round would take place in Batavia, but these pitchers likely to reprise their outings in that semis game. Foul ball down the line. Miller stays alive at 1-2. He flew out to center his first time up. Hammond made the grab to end the first inning. And in this bottom of the third, the Americans looking to take the lead after tying it. Miller swings and misses instead. Luke rising. 4 strikeouts in 3 frames. We'll send it to the top of the fourth. It's a tie ball game. It's been a busy third inning. After 2 innings scoreless for both teams, we'll send it to the top of the fourth after the break.
My fellow American fans, my name is Frankie Morris, your social media manager. You can join us all summer long with many promotional nights and tickets just as low as $10. You can call and get tickets at 716-215-6161 and take a crack at the action.
We bring you back for the top of the fourth inning. This fourth inning here on the Americans Baseball Network is brought to you by the International Brotherhood of Electrical Workers, Local 237, by Johnny Ryan, and by Coca-Cola. It's the middle of the Batavia order, up for a second time to face Luke Blandino, Jacob Vezco, Jackson Inman, and Sean Mindas due up to face him. This game all tied up. All the runs came in the third inning. Batavia with a 2-run single from Tyler Castrotaro. Americans runs coming in first on a wild pitch. And then the knock by Wang. Ian Wang with the only RBI of the game for the Americans. And we'll give you another look at the Tarp Skunks Pioneers game. It's still 8-0 Jamestown in the bottom of the third. The Tarp Skunks not only with the chance to beat Elmira to help out these Americans, but the chance to mercy them. All the Americans need to do in order to secure that playoff berth, so long as Jamestown can hold on, is win this game against Batavia. And it's all tied up, so this is anyone's ball game. Blandino looking to secure that. Swing and a miss for strike one. Jacob Vezco already struck out against Blandino once. He's the only strikeout victim for Luke today. Check swing pulled back in time. It's 1-1. Vezco, one of the hottest hitters, and it's a fly ball into center field. Drops for the base hit. And we got a correction here. There's a pitching change for the Americans. C.J. Hurley coming out of the bullpen for Niagara Falls. The Americans looking to keep pitch counts down, headed into the playoffs. Hurley, the lefty, to face these Muckdogs. And he may start playoff games, but would be unlikely to come before the PGCBL championship, as Blandino and Bazinet have started the most games for the Americans and likely slot in as those first two starters. It's 0-1 to Jackson Inman. So the base hit for Vezco off of Hurley. And now the first left-on-left matchup of the game. Hurley against Jackson Inman. Inman shows bunt. And that's laid down, but it goes foul. 0-2. Inman looking to advance the runner on first. Vezco. Hurley looking for his first batter retired of the game. Blandino done after 3 innings, just looking to stay fresh ahead of a potential playoff start. Early, the pitch fouled off. Still 0-2. Luke Blandino, 2 runs allowed in the first 3 innings. So not his finest day, but has been one of the best starters for the Americans over the course of the season. It's 1-2 to Jackson Inman. Early, the 1-2 fouled off on a rocket down the third base line. Holy moly, that popped through the fence into the stands. Jackson Inman has some serious power, but he's been cold of late. Can he put his power to use against C.J. Hurley? Hurley was done in 1 inning when he started against these Muckdogs back in July. It's a fly ball, deep left field, caught by Gavin Boyle for out number 1. So Boyle retires the first batter here. Sean Mindas up next, with a runner on first in the form of Jacob Vezco. It was the Ondas Boring combo last night for the Americans. Now Blandino and Hurley pairing up to pitch this game. It's 1-0 outside to Sean Mindas. This Americans pitching staff more well rested than usual, so might as well use the plethora of arms and keep everyone fresh ahead of the playoffs. Up and away to make it 2-0. Michael Gangloff, the latest addition in the Americans pitching staff, got a trial run in the out-of-league game against the Diesel and now signed on for the rest of the season. It's 3-0 on the low inside pitch. Gangloff pinch ran last night to allow playoff eligibility. Runner on first is Vezco, and this is 1 ball away from a 4-pitch walk, but strike 1 on the low inside corner to Sean Mindas here. Hurley, the pickoff attempt at first. It was close, but Vezco slides back in. Hurley looking for a second straight strike. Instead, a high chopper to Ramos. Out at second, the throw to first is not in time. So no double play, but out number 2 recorded on the fielder's choice from Ramos to Wang. The middle infield duo getting plenty of work here in this 4th inning. Here comes Bolton. James Bolton walked his first time up in the 2nd inning, or rather 3rd inning. It's a low strike 1. Hurley looking to retire the side right here with a runner on. And there's a dribbler to Huang at second. The shovel to Miller for out number 3. 2 groundouts and the inning. We'll send it to the bottom of the 4th after the break.
Fans, if you've been to a game, you know that I give away pizza to a lucky fan in the middle of the 3rd inning. But what you might not know is that Sammy's is located right across the street. They've also been family owned and operated for 3 generations since 1962 and originated the half tray of pizza. But if you're hungry at the game, you can stop by the concession stand and get a slice of Sammy's for yourself.
We bring you back for the bottom of the 4th. An extra special shout out to our social media manager, Frankie Morris, who came on the broadcast today, but you can follow her as well as Leah Fraun along on all this Americans action on their social media platforms, Instagram, X, Facebook, and TikTok. The ats are on your screen right now as Shane Prey leads off the inning for Niagara Falls. Second inning he's leading off today. In fact, the second inning was the first inning he led off, ironically. Prey popped out to the second baseman, Walker, his first time up. Fouls it off to put him at 0-2. Americans got a clean inning from Hurley in the top of the frame. C.J. Hurley in for Luke Blandino after 3 innings. The 0-2 sent foul behind the dish for Shane Prey. Blandino 3 innings, 1 hit, 2 earned runs, 3 walks, and just a single strikeout. It's 1-2. Luke Blandino finished his day with 63 pitches. American starters being held around 60 ahead of the playoffs. There's a foul ball by Prey. Makes it 1-2. Prey looking for a hit after 2 yesterday, but takes strike 3 called. 0 for 2 on the day. Chris Gazaldo up next. Gazaldo 0 for 1 on the day with a fly out to right. Breaking ball finds the zone. Luke Rising sharp as ever, despite 2 runs allowed in the third. Those are his first runs allowed in 26 innings. Ones across the board. Gazaldo looking to work this count with ones across the board. And sends it up the middle. Hammond chasing it down, makes the grab in center for out number 2. Gazaldo with a pair of liners into the outfield today. Both have been caught for outs. Nick Pass up next. He struck out looking his first time up. Luke Rising up to 5 strikeouts on the day. Of those 5, 2 have come looking, 3 have come swinging. Breaking ball finds the upstairs part of the zone for strike 1. Nick Pass looking to make his first contact in fair territory today. Sends one foul, so contact indeed, but not fair that time around. Our public address announcer, Doc Fonts, chirping the fans in the stands for being unable to make the play on the foul ball, but it's 1-2. We wouldn't count for anything. This isn't banana ball, but Nick Pass with the 1-2 count, looking to climb out of what was once an 0-2 hole. Another foul ball. He's fighting here. Luke Rising looking for a 1-2-3 inning. Came against these same batters in the second. Can he do it again in the fourth? Right now, and up and in, ball 2. 2's across the board now. 1s were across to Chris Gazaldo. Swing and a miss. And Nick Pass is the 6th strikeout victim of Luke Rising. We will send it to the top of the 5th after the break and give you an update around the PGCBL as the Americans fight for their playoff berth. We'll be right back.
No, I'm kind of thirsty.
Me too. We could really use something.
Yeah. Oh, thanks,
Yankee Doodle Dan.
That's better.
Back for the 5th inning here on the Americans Baseball Network. This 5th inning brought to you by Tropical Heating and Cooling. Call 716-870-0753 for expert service. Getting a rhythm going to that one, but give you an update around the PGCBL. The Jamestown Tarpscones now up 11-0 in the bottom of the 3rd. If they can hold that lead to the 7th, they mercy the Pios, and the Americans would just have to win to clinch the playoff berth. The Doubledays up 7-0 on Geneva in the only other PGCBL action outside of those two games. Hurley, the first pitch popped up down the first base side. Miller's there to make the grab. And Justin Espinal retired in one pitch. Graydon Miller with some nice range on that first base side. Travis Hammond up next. Hammond walked his first time up, a big cut and miss there. CJ Hurley, a nice start to his day. And I mean, if he keeps going like this, maybe he'll earn a playoff start in those first two matchups. Strike 2. And Travis Hammond is down in this count early. Hurley was excellent a season ago for the Americans. One start as well as some relief appearances, had a 1.42 ERA this season. Mixed results, but a 4.09 ERA, and that's trending in the right direction. It was over 5 most of the year after a rough first outing against Batavia on opening night. But it's 1-2 after the first ball in this count. Another low inside ball makes it 2-2. 2-2 pitch is grounded to Ramos at short. The throw to first is late, but still in time. Ramos with a bit of a delayed toss, but still makes it in time for out number 2. Caleb Walker up next. CJ Hurley looking for a second scoreless frame on these Muckdogs. Hurley's first pitch to Walker goes wild. Over everything, including Nick Past. Hurley has to dial it in after that early pitch. 1-0 pitch here is lined up the middle, and it hooks to the left side of Connor Kiefer for a base hit. Caleb Walker making some killer contact on that pitch. Hurley looking to hold him at first and retire the side. Braden Horton up next, who's walked and popped out. A low ball 1 to start things off on Horton. It's a left-on-left matchup. Horton saw the right-hander Blandino his first 2 times up. Now the Americans switching it up. Liner into right field, but the jump up for Ian Huang to make the grab and end the top of the 5th inning. We'll send it to the bottom of the inning after the break.
My fellow American fans, my name is Frankie Morris, your social media manager. You can join us all summer long with many promotional nights and tickets just as low as $10. You can call and get tickets at 716-215-6161 and take a crack at the action.
Back for the bottom of the 5th inning. And fans, if you or someone you know have a birthday coming up, why not spend it with the Americans? Packages include 10 tickets, 2 large Sammy's pizzas, 10 drinks, customized Wegmans cake, autographed Americans, baseballs, and special recognition at the game, starting at just $175. Sign up online at www.niagarafallsamericans.com. Sponsored by Wegmans and Sammy's Pizza. Speaking of Wegmans, they're the proud sponsors of the Kids Run here at the Barbershop. That'll take place right after this inning, and we'll keep it here to see if Yankee Doodle Dan holds on to his undefeated record. Has a couple asterisks on it at this point. Between the loss and the out-of-league game, and there's a line shot in the right center, caught by Horton for out number 1, but Yankee Doodle Dan also a close call in another game this season, but nonetheless undefeated in the Kids Run, and he puts that to the test tonight. Bat boy for the Americans, just for this game, but wearing Tommy Mathey's old number. Mathay done for the year after a nice run in this Americans outfield. It's ball 1 to Carmen Panaro with 1 down. Kiefer's made some nice contact tonight, but retired with the fly out there. Big cut and miss. Panaro has 1s across the board. Alan Ramos on deck. And Ian Wang in the hole. One of them has to get on in order for all of them to bat. Breaking ball drops low for ball 2. Broke back into the strike zone vertically, but horizontally, not so much. Other way around, but a line shot into right field. A seeing eye single for Carmen Panaro. Gets between the second baseman Walker and the first baseman Espinal. Panaro on first. Alan Ramos up with the chance to knock him in. First pitch goes outside to Ramos for ball 1. And there's a takeoff for second. Panaro gets the steal in time. On the second ball, Panaro takes second base. The Muckdogs have action in the bullpen. Evan Hollinsworth in the pen for Batavia. And may have blown the game the last time the Muckdogs were here. However, last time pitching was in Batavia against these Americans, and he redeemed himself and got revenge. 2 clean innings and the win over these Americans last time around. Rising the 3-0 pitch, and it walks Ramos in 4 pitches. Goes outside. Got runners on first and second for Ian Wang after Panaro stole second and Ramos took first behind him. Wang, the RBI single in the 3rd inning, as well as a single but out at second in the very first inning of the game, so he's 2 for 2. Meeting on the mound, Rising's day is winding down after he gave up some of his first runs in a while. Evan Hollinsworth ready in the pen, but this is just the first mound visit, so possible Rising finishes it out for the 5th. Also possible he's done here, as it would conserve his energy for the playoffs. We'll see what the decision is from Skip Martinez. We'll take a brief break from the audio while the Muckdogs decide. Ian Wang, 2 for 2 on the day, looking to expand on that as Luke Rising hangs in there with 1 down and 2 on. It's his 5th inning of work. Hollinsworth ready in the pen. Rising continues to struggle. And right here, he throws one low for ball 1. Well, Rising hasn't seen incredibly long innings for most of the season. He did go 6 out of the pen in his most recent appearance, so you'd expect that the longevity would be here, but both runners take off. The double steal. Panaro on third, Ramos now on second. 3 stolen bases total between the two of them since they got on in this 5th inning. Alan Ramos is up to 8 steals on the year. That's second on the team, and Graham Moore, done for the year, was in first. 1 and 2 on the count here. Alan Ramos. With Moore's hand injury, you can officially take the title of fastest American. 1-2 pitch is right up the middle for a base hit. Ian Huang has a 3-hit game. 1 run scores. Ramos coming around. He gets in there in time. It's 4-2 Americans. Luke Rising, 24 scoreless frames coming into this game, and now he's given up 4 runs to Niagara Falls. How the tables have turned. Ian Wang, have a day. And that'll do it for Luke Rising. Before he can even finish this 5th inning, Evan Hollinsworth taking over to face Gavin Boyle. The Americans have the lead and are in the driver's seat to clinch their playoff berth tonight. And when we're back with the call to the bullpen right here, Avery Vogt will rejoin us here on the broadcast. Exciting things to come. The Americans looking to hold on to their lead. We'll take a quick commercial and then introduce Avery when we're back.
No, I'm kind of thirsty.
Me too. We could really use something.
Yeah. Oh, thanks,
Yankee Doodle Dan.
That's better.
Ian Wang has 10 hits in 4 games against the Batavia Muckdogs, and in this game alone has all 3 of the Americans' RBIs with the 4th run scoring on a wild pitch. We bring you back with Evan Hollinsworth coming in to pitch, and we have Avery Vogt joining us on the broadcast. Avery Vogt, a color commentator here on the Americans Baseball Network. Avery, how you doing today?
You know, it's a different kind of day today. I was working the concessions in the first inning or so, and I got moved to DJ, so now I'm back here in color commentator, so it's been definitely a all-around kind of day for me here today, but it's a great day out.
Definitely, Avery. I mean, you're all over the place with this team, the true utility guy for the Americans.
Yeah, I mean, you ask, I'll do it, so, I mean, I've done pretty much everything, done the music, done the PA, and, I mean, I'm happy to do it all, so I love to help out any way I can.
Especially all over this press box. But Evan Hollinsworth, the new pitcher, is 2-2 with a 3.18 ERA and 26 strikeouts. His last 2 outings against these Americans have been very 2 opposite ends of the spectrum. The 9th inning here against the Americans gave up the game-winning knock to Chris Gazaldo, and the runs were charged to Garrett Beaver, but Evan Hollinsworth was feeling the shame after that game nonetheless, and had a great bounce back on Sunday in Batavia against these Americans when he threw 2 innings and picked up the win.
Yeah, it's going to be a different approach here for the Americans as Gavin Boyle's up here first, so it's going to be a little left-on-left battle early here, and one thing would be noted would be Ian Wang will be batting from the other side now if he stays in, when he comes back around.
Yeah.
So it's a little bit of a different approach now with the lefty in.
I'd argue maybe would have been smart to take Rising out before Ian Wang came up to bat. Force him to go from the right side. He hasn't seen as many at-bats over there. But now the left-on-left matchup to start off the day for Evan Hollinsworth. It's an outside ball 1. Gavin Boyle, 1 for 2 on the day. 3 home runs on the year. A homer here would really blow this game open. Fouls it off to put ones across the board. And Ian Wang, just got to give him his flowers. Such a great start to the day. And ever since that pinch hit appearance against Jamestown, he has been on fire for this team.
Yeah, we got an early starting of him in the first game of the season where he went 4 for 5, and we had high hopes. I mean, he's still been a terrific ball player, too, especially as of recently.
And that goes behind Gavin Boyle, the wild pitch. And the terrific ball player you were just talking about, Avery, heads to second base.
Yeah, I mean, didn't really have to put on some speed there, but yeah, he definitely had a heads-up play there, saw that the ball got away from the catcher and just takes seconds, so now we got a runner in scoring position here with 1 out for Gavin Boyle.
I mean, Evan Hollinsworth throwing him behind the batter. That's not usual for him, and it's not a good sign for what's to come. Hollinsworth has tended to struggle in high-pressure situations, thrives best when the Muckdogs are ahead in the game. And Boyle sends that into center field. It's hooking, but Hammond jumps up and misses it. That goes to the wall. Boyle has a double. Wang coming around to score. Boyle headed for third. Gavin Boyle has a stand-up triple. My goodness, the Americans are on fire in this 5th inning.
Gavin Boyle just gets a nice piece of that ball and looked like the center field there for the Muckdogs was going to come down with it, but unfortunately doesn't. And Gavin Boyle really puts on the afterburners right there and gets to third. And like you said, Ian Wang comes home to score, and Americans now extending the lead to 3 now.
Travis Hammond, a leap and a miss. Boyle's ball lands right at the wall. It gets him 3 bases and the RBI. Ian Wang coming around to score after 3 ribbies himself. And Graydon Miller the chance to score Boyle and get his bat hot again.
Yeah, Andrew there, you had a nice Gavin Boyle ball to the wall. Another Dr. Seuss one right there for you, Andrew.
I mean, I think that's an expression outside of just Dr. Seuss. Americans are going balls to the walls in this game.
That's very true, Andrew.
1-0, and that's a dribbler right to the second baseman. And the throw to first. Walker to Espinal in time for out number 2. But Gavin Boyle still at third looking to score.
Yeah, Gavin Boyle. Yes, Gavin Boyle there was looking to go to home, but the ball was too close in the infield, so he decided to play it safe and stay at third there. Nice heads-up play.
Shane Prey with 2 down, but yes, a nice heads-up play. Keeps Boyle on third. Prey takes the ball outside. And the Americans now 7 hits, 5 runs. And that's low, but finds the strike zone on the outside corner. Prey 0 for 2 on the day, but 4 hits over the last 2 games, including the Buffalo Diesel out of leaguer. Prey swings and misses, and it's 1-2. One-two pitch. Gets in there for strike 3. Shane Prey goes down looking for the 2nd inning in a row. The Americans will stop there after a 3-run inning. But we, on the other hand, will keep it here for the Wegmans Kids Run. Can Yankee Doodle Dan stay undefeated as the Americans have taken charge in this game? What's at stake? A playoff berth and the season series against Batavia. This would get the Americans the 5-3 win of the season series and lock it up regardless of what happens in the playoffs. And here comes Yankee Doodle Dan with a couple of kids. Not the crowd that we've seen in recent kids runs, but it's a close one. Getting a black shirt close with Yankee Doodle Dan. Yankee still comes away with the win. Stays undefeated, and only one more regular season game to test that, as Yankee Doodle Dan will be playing in more than just the kids run tomorrow. Yankee Doodle Dan expected alongside all the other Americans interns to play in the game against Power City. That matchup We'll start off at 6:30. We'll have players on the call, all the coverage here on the Americans Baseball Network. Tyler Castrataro leads things off in this 6th inning against C.J. Hurley. Castrataro will be followed up by Cooper Fesh and Jacob Vezco. Vezco singled off Hurley back in the 4th inning. Andrew Roberts back for the 6th. Avery Vogt will be with us momentarily. And there's a grounder. Wang headed for it and prevents it from headed into right field. Out number 1 on the 4-3 ground out. Ian Wang with some nice range from second to retire Castrataro.
Yeah, Wang there just kind of seemed like he had to do like a 360, maybe a little bit of an awkward reach there for the ball, but still gets the job done there. So nice first out for the Americans in this inning.
Cooper Fesh up next with 1 down. And another grounder. This one Miller picks up himself and takes care of himself. The unassisted ground out. 2 pitches, 2 outs.
Yeah, you can't be mad here if you're C.J. Hurley. Keeping the pitch count low here in this top of the 6th inning. Like you said, Andrew, 2 pitches, 2 outs, so that's about as effective as you can be so far.
C.J. Hurley with his pitch count still under 30 in this game. And he's in his 3rd inning of work with 2 down. Breaking ball finds the outside edge of the zone. Seems he was looking for Jacob Vezco to go chasing on that one, but gets the strike anyways. The 1 pitch is lined into right field foul. Carmen Panaro doesn't give that one a go as it's pretty far out of reach. Low for ball 1, but C.J. Hurley finds himself 1 strike away from ending this inning. Would be 3 scoreless frames for C.J., and the Americans gave him some run support in the bottom of the 5th rather. And there's a pop-up. Graydon Miller's under and makes the grab. C.J. Hurley has a 6-pitch inning. That'll do it for the top of the 6th. We'll be right back with the bottom of the frame.
My fellow American fans, my name is Frankie Morris, your social media manager. You can join us all summer long with many promotional nights and tickets just as low as $10. You can call and get tickets at 716-215-6161 and take a crack at the action.
Remember, fans, an Americans game is a great way to enter a group for the evening. We're able to offer fundraisers tailored to your group needs. Nonprofits, churches, youth sports, and much, much more. For all group information, please visit our website at www.niagarafallsamericans.com.
And we bring you back for the bottom of the 6th inning. Got you those 6th inning sponsors as well. Niagara County Legislator Chris Robins, Laborers Local 91, and Wegmans. Evan Hollinsworth set to face Chris Gazaldo, Nick Past, and Connor Kiefer in the 6th inning. And Kiefer is the only one of those three with a hit. Came in the infield. It was a nice knock for Connor and a nice run to first base.
Yeah, if I remember correctly, he just knocked to the shortstop and just it was kind of a weird throw to first. But yeah, Kiefer made it to first there. So yeah, we'll look for the rest of these players to get their hits and keep this game going here for the Americans.
Chris Gazaldo looking to add to the hit party.
Yes!
Right up the middle and gets through the middle infield gap for a base hit. Chris Gazaldo stops there. He was thinking about second, but he has his first hit of the day. And Chris Gazaldo, the X factor. You and I both know the Americans are much better in games where he has a hit.
Yeah, numbers don't lie, Andrew. If you look at them, the Americans always do much better when Gazaldo gets a hit. And just like you said, Andrew, you add to the hit party, ask and you shall receive as Gazaldo gets his hit here.
Passed up next. And this is the beauty of the 9-batter order. I mean, 10 batters gets more guys opportunities, but when you're down to 11 hitters total, 9 batters, you get your best bats up more often. This is already the third time through the Americans order. Nick Pass takes one low on the inside corner for strike one. Sun is beginning to set here at Sal Magley. Soon the lights will be on, and the lights are bright for the Americans. Maybe brighter than they've been all season. Upstairs, ball one. One's on the count. And Avery, if these leads hold in both the Tarp Skunks Pioneers game and this game in front of us, the Americans will clinch a playoff berth right here tonight.
Yeah, unfortunately last year Americans didn't make the playoffs by one game, and in their second season it'd be great for them to make the playoffs. And like you said, Andrew, if the scores do hold like we've seen, it'll guarantee the Americans a playoff spot, and it'll be a great time here in Niagara Falls.
Funny enough, the Americans are the only team who did not make last year's playoffs with a chance to make it this year. Batavia and Jamestown locked into spots for the second straight year. Gazaldo heads to second, trying to steal, and he is caught. Cooper Fesh guns him out. And it's 3-1. The Americans' own catcher passed. Chris Gazaldo caught stealing. Passed, hoping to take his place on the base paths now with 3-1 on the count. Here's the pitch from Hollinsworth. It's a high chopper to the third baseman. Inman Pass trying to beat it out, and he slides and gets there. Nick passed. And they say catchers can't run, but Nick Pass certainly can.
Yeah, I mean, Nick Pass there just legs it out. He sent a high chopper to the third baseman, and something very unconventional. You see someone slide into first base, but it seemed to work out there for Nick Pass as he gets rewarded with a hit, and now he's on first base.
An angle on that slide, too, avoiding the tag. What a heads-up base running play for Nick Pass. And I've always said Pass, even if he's not the fastest on the team, he's one of the smartest base runners that the Americans have.
Yeah, sliding into first, he really put his body in the line there, and it pays off.
He's gotten stolen bases with his smarts on the base paths as well. It's a swing and a miss for strike one to Connor Kiefer. Americans have 2 hits in this inning alone, up to 9 on the day. Kiefer looking for his second hit of this game. He was the other American with an infield knock. Swing and a miss for strike 2. Yes. Interesting pattern. The guys, they usually get hit by pitches on these Americans. Pass and Kiefer both with infield singles in this game and have not been whacked once. While Alan Ramos, the fastest American, has gotten clocked with a pitch, but no hits in this game.
Yeah, Alan Ramos really took one hard off the back earlier, so he's still looking for a hit, but I'm
1-2 to Connor Kiefer. It's been quite the role reversal for Pass and Kiefer with Alan Ramos in this game.
Yeah, I mean, Ramos is a very bona fide player on this roster, so I'm still hoping out that he gets a hit here and adds to the party.
Already on base twice, a hit by pitch and a walk. Came around to score earlier, and that's a comebacker right to Hollinsworth, the throw to first in time for out number 2. But it's a productive out. It advanced Nick Pass into scoring position for Carm Panaro.
Yeah, Carm with a single his last at bat, so now he's looking to get another hit here, and if he does, might be able to drive a Nick Pass and push his lead to forward here for the Americans.
Yeah, and we've already seen how Nick Pass can run these bases. A deep knock for Carmen, past the chance to score from second base, and he has a big lead on that base.
Yeah, Pass was sliding into first to get on base last time. Maybe this time when he comes home, he'll jump over the catcher.
I mean, he's already, every time he takes this lead, inching his way past the Muckdogs shortstop, Tyler Castrotaro. There'll be a Castrotaro with a bit of a shift on Panaro here. Swing and a miss to make it 0-2. I feel like the shift is partially to keep things close to the runner on second pass as well. That way it can make the tag, but also helps to be a little closer to the right field side on the lefty Panaro. Pop up in left field foul territory goes out of play. Panaro known for pulling the ball. Pulled it down that first base line for extra bases against these Muckdogs last time around.
And it seems like the first baseman's kind of aware of that as he's standing a little bit off the first base bag with some depth. So
just Justin Espinal right there, but
just trying to protect all spots here for Panaro.
And it's now 1-2 on this count. An outside ball. Hollinsworth looking to get out of this inning without another run allowed. None of the runs were charged to Evan as Luke Rising put those base runners on. It's an inside ball, 2. 2s across the board to Carmen Panaro. Panaro looking to stay alive here after the 0-2 hole. Can he pull another into right field? Yes, he can, but Espinal just misses it.
Go.
And coming around to score, Nick Past gets there in time. We'll wait for the official call. It's an error. Panaro reaches on it. And coming around to score is Nick Past. The Americans up 6-2.
Yeah, Espinal there, like I said before, he was right in that spot where Panaro hit that ball, but Espinal just seems to fumble the ball, and Panaro knocks in Nick Past with that.
That was huge. And now the Americans turn around their order for the 4th time today. Alan Ramos, number 4. Batting for the 4th time and up 1-0 in this count. Has Panaro on first with an open second base. Potential to steal again. He stole in the 5th. In fact, he stole twice. Second time was as part of a double steal with Alan Ramos. Can they get on together again here with Ramos up 2-0 in the count? 2-0 pitch is socked foul down the first base side. It's 2-1. What an inning for these Americans. Only 1 run scored so far, but just some nice contact made by the bottom half of their order as well. Ramos at the top of the order looking to join the party. And he lines it to the shortstop, but Inman cuts it off. It hopped, and Ramos is safe. So that hopped on a big chop into Inman's glove, and Ramos safe at first. Infield single makes it 1st and 2nd, and you know what happened the last time these two were together on the base paths.
Yeah, I mean, Alan Ramos just showing off his incredible speed, just absolutely legging it out to first, and like you said, Andrew gets rewarded with the infield single there with Carm now on second base and runner in scoring position here for Ian Wang.
And Wang looking for his second 4-hit game of the season. The first came against these Muckdogs on opening night. It's 0-1 to Ian.
Yeah, different approach here for Wang, though. He's got a bat from the right side this time, but he's definitely a capable hitter, so I feel he could still pull it off, and like you said, Andrew, get his second 4-hit night.
Trio of singles batting from the left side. We'll see what he can do from the right side with the 0-1 count. And that's a wild pitch way outside. No double steal, but a double advance on the wild pitch.
Yeah, I mean, that ball was, I don't know, 10 feet outside the strike box. That was a crazy pitch. I don't know what happened there, but it just seemed the ball just simply rolled out of his hand wrong. And like you said, now runners both in scoring position here for Ian Wang to knock in maybe some more runs.
And as the Muckdogs DJ likes to say, that was just a bit outside.
Maybe just a little more than just a bit outside, but we'll leave it at that.
High chopper right down the first base side goes foul. Pinaro and Ramos were ready to advance some more, but it's 1-2. Evan Hollinsworth has this down to a final strike, and Hollinsworth has given up a run now that was charged to himself, but no earned run. Hollinsworth preserving his ERA, but at what cost? 2 runners in scoring position, and Wang sends it down the line foul. And if nothing else, even when Ian Wang's bat isn't hot, he knows how to work a count.
Yeah, Ian Wang's definitely a patient hitter too, like you said, Andrew, and that time there he fouls it off down the third baseline, like we've seen him actually get hits down that line today, so he's just trying to put it right back in that spot.
Here's the 1-2 pitch. Wang, high fly ball into left field. Mindas tracking it down in foul territory, makes the grab for out number 3. So no home run power from Wang there, but a nice ball into left field despite the catch from Mindas. We'll send it to the top of the 7th after the break. The Americans lead by 4. They are 3 innings away from the chance to clinch a playoff berth. Can they do it? We'll find out when we're back.
Fans, if you've been to a game, you know that I give away pizza to a lucky fan in the middle of the 3rd inning. But what you might not know is that Sammy's is located right across the street. They've also been family owned and operated for 3 generations since 1962 and originated the half tray of pizza. But if you're hungry at the game, you can stop by the concession stand and get a slice of Sammy's for yourself.
Back for the top of the 7th inning. This 7th inning brought to you by Elks Lodge of Niagara Falls, Bikers Against Child Abuse, the Stauka Agency, and Red Robin Gourmet Burgers and Brews. CJ Hurley in for his 4th inning of work. Andrew Roberts back with Avery Vogt. Jackson Inman kicks things off for Batavia, sends it foul. And he's down 0-2 in this count.
Yeah, Hurley here came in after Blandino gave us some innings, so now Hurley's doing very well here against these Muckdogs.
Some run support has helped him, but that gets through past Graydon Miller for the base hit. Into right field, Jackson Inman has his first hit of the day. Seeing eye single for Jackson.
Yeah, Graydon Miller there came off the bag and was looking to grab that ball just a little bit out of his reach, so Batavia gets away with a hit and a runner on first.
Sean Mindas up next. A ground out and a ground into fielder's choice. He's struggled over the recent stretch for Batavia, but a fly ball into right center. Pinaro coming over as well as Kiefer. It's Carmen with the grab for out number 1, excuse me. Out number 2 could be coming soon the way CJ's pitching. James Bolton up next. Walking a ground out today. Batting average dips just below 300 with that ground out. Was right on the nose at 300 coming into this game. Inman with a lead at first. Already one pickoff attempt unsuccessful. And there's another liner. It gets past Wang into the outfield for a base hit. Right up the gut. And it's first and second for the Muckdogs. C.J. Hurley with some trouble in his fourth inning of work. Just one down and two on.
Yeah, it seems like Hurley is losing a little bit on his command here as the Muckdogs are just getting some hits across here. But the one positive thing here is the double play ball, so it'd be a great way he got out of this inning here for Hurley.
Well, he's putting it over the plate. The problem is Batavia ripping the ball.
Yeah, might just be Hurley not putting in the ball in the exact spot he's trying, but it might just be a little bit off as Paz goes to talk to him, so we'll see what they change here to this approach.
And I mean, attacking the zone is great, but when Batavia is getting knocks like that off the attacks of the zone, got to mix things up a little bit. Paint the corners. I'd imagine that's what Nick Pass is talking about with Hurley. A lot of Americans pitchers thrive off the corner. C.J. Hurley, not as much, but a liner into left center field. It's going back, and so is the center fielder Kiefer, but it drops behind him. It's a double for Justin Espinal. He's headed towards third now. Ends up with a triple. The Muckdogs cut the lead in half. Justin Espinal, the American killer, strikes again.
Yeah, Espinal there just sends a deep ball into about left center field, and yeah, Kiefer just can't reach that ball in time, and Batavia gets 2 more runs in, so now, yeah, Americans only lead by 2 here.
Muckdogs with a trio of hits this inning. That's 6 on the day, but strike 1 to Travis Hammond with Justin Espinal in scoring position. Muckdogs have the chance to cut this in half again. You keep slicing the lead in half. I mean, can't lead a game by half a run, but the Muckdogs inching closer and closer. That's C.J. Hurley with his first real traffic of the game in this inning. He's had the occasional base runner on, but hasn't had a runner have more than a single over his first 3 frames. And now single, triple with just 1 out in between. Hammond. A walk and a ground out thus far. Hurley has another one with hard contact. It's a liner in the left field for the base hit. Hammond taking advantage of another pitch over the plate, and Espinal scores. The Muckdogs keep slicing this in half. They are slicing this lead like a stem cell. Travis Hammond in RBI after Espinal had a pair of them. Caleb Walker, the final hitter of the Muckdogs order in this 3rd time through. And C.J. Hurley struggling with them. First pitch is again contact made. Miller takes the high chopper. The tag does not get there. A base hit for Caleb Walker in the infield. And just putting that in an awkward spot does the job.
Yeah, it seemed like Graydon Miller there was trying to get back to first, and Hurley there just wasn't quite there in time, so Graydon Miller just tried to tag the runner, and fortunately doesn't make it in time, so now the Muckdogs got 2 runners on.
And here comes Paul Wolf. 5 hits and 6 batters faced this inning for C.J. Hurley. This could be it. The Americans, not too much action in the bullpen just yet. But, I mean, with Hurley giving up a lot of hard contact this inning, that's just going to be tough to keep him in the game after that.
Yeah, Hurley's just kind of taking a little bit of a beating out there, so they're going to keep him in. They got faith in him, so we'll see how he responds here after giving up the 3 runs.
I mean, the idea now, I would argue, is to paint the corners.
Yeah, and with runners on first and second here, possibly getting some weak contact to get the double play here.
The Americans still need both a win and a Pios loss to clinch the playoff berth tonight. Elmira is also battling back. It's 11-5 Jamestown, but the Pioneers have scored 5 unanswered. The one true blowout here in the PGCBL tonight is the Auburn Doubledays up 19-0 on Geneva. They're going to mercy Geneva, barring some serious scoring in the top of the 7th inning. And now CJ Hurley will be pulled from the game after some second thoughts. We'll wait for word on the new pitcher and take a break from the audio for the time being. Robert Leach coming in out of the bullpen for the Americans. Third pitcher to go today, and Leach much more effective out of the bullpen than as a starter, but on the year, 1-1 with a 5.54 ERA, 25 strikeouts, and 4 saves. If he could go the rest of the way here, a chance for a save in this game.
Yeah, Robert Leach, a product of my own school, St. John Fisher, so it'll be good for him if he can finish out this game for the Americans and hold their lead here. So it'll be a good situation here for Leach to help out these Americans.
The only Americans player from St. John Fisher for the time being. That'll change tomorrow when you and Yankee Doodle Dan suit up, Avery.
Yeah, it'll be a whole new different game when we get out there on the field. We'll join Robert Leach as some more St. John Fisher players. So it'll definitely be a new approach as I come into the ballpark tomorrow.
I mean, only one St. John Fisher player on the active roster, but 4 interns over the course of the summer from Fisher. Justin Royex stopping in for a couple of months, or for a couple of weeks at the start of the summer. Leah Fraun, social media merchandise manager for much of the year. And then Avery Yu and Yankee Doodle Dan rounding it out.
Yeah, it's a great school out there. They got a great sports management program. And, yeah, the professors there are just excellent. Shout out Professor Hemingway. He's the guy that got me here. He's always sending out emails with opportunities for us to work in. And without that email, I don't think I'd be here right now, Andrew. So it's a great guy out there to work with.
Shout out to my own professor, Meade Loop from Ithaca College, who also sent out the email about Can USA Sports. And, I mean, Can USA across the board with 6 Ithaca College interns this summer. 3 of which the broadcasters, myself, Farrell Hudson, and Nikita Lohman. Jake Rain-S will make his broadcasting debut for the Muckdogs tomorrow. He's been an intern over in Batavia. And a strike 1 on the outside corner to Braden Horton as Leach comes in for the opposite-handed matchup to start off. Also had a guest from WICB Radio, that's the Ithaca College station, Morgan Spriggs, on for color this summer. Not a Can USA intern, but guest color commentator, makes her the 5th bomber on a PGCBL broadcast this summer. And it's 0-2 to Braden Horton here. Swing and a miss.
Seems like he might have made a little bit of contact.
Yeah, just got
there.
a slight piece of it to stay alive. Horton down 0-2 in this count. Trying to stay alive against the new pitcher, Leach. Leach has had a couple of strong outings in a row. The last one against these Muckdogs. Throws one outside to make it 1-2. His second most recent outing came against the Ironbacks on Monday, July 14th. Finished that game with 3 clean innings and struck out the side in one of those. Here's the 1-2 pitch. And it's a high fly ball, foul territory. Goes out of play into the third base stance. Braden Horton battling here. The early 0-2 count. It's now been a 5-pitch at bat. It's been a long top of the 7th. 3 runs allowed by C.J. Hurley. And now Robert Leach in his place. All 3 of those runs will be earned for C.J. Weiner into right field, drops for the base hit. And runners waved around. Now the stop sign to the second runner, but a score for Travis Hammond. This game is tied. The Muckdogs tie it at 6. And cut the lead more than in half right there.
Yeah, the Muckdogs just pulling a run there from Horton, and now it's a tie game, 6-6, and Americans looking to just get out of this inning after giving up 4 runs so far and trying to get the bats back up and keep them hot.
Yeah, a 4-piece for Batavia this inning. That already tops the Americans' best inning when they scored 3 runs in the bottom of the 5th. It's a high ball 1 to Tyler Castrotaro, and he has runners on the corners with 1 down. Very few things that will prevent the 7th run from scoring. The 4 outcomes you want here: strikeout, pop out, line out, or double play. And there's somewhat of a pop-up. It's into right field. Pinaro chasing it down, makes the dive, but it's foul.
Honestly, that was the better play than having Carm catch that ball, because if he did, probably would have been not enough time and space to make that throw at home. So keep the runner at third, so not a bad outcome right there.
Yeah, floated too much for the chance to gun out Caleb Walker. Walker's a speedster as well. He's no joke on the base paths. Hammond and Walker advancing 2 bases apiece on the Braden Horton single. Horton has an open base with potential to steal another speedster for this team, and that finds the outside corner for strike 2. This would be a big strikeout for Robert Leach, and he has 2 strikes on the count already.
Yeah, it'd be a good second out here after the damage caused by the Muckdogs. So yeah, if Robert Leach can come in and get a strikeout here, it'll be good.
It's the 4th time through Batavia's order in just the 7th inning. This has been a high-scoring game. What was expected to be a pitcher's duel. Always tends to happen when you have these pitcher matchups, is the hitters are just like, you know what? We're going to surprise these arms. Play up to the competition a little bit.
And maybe the coaches in the locker room are telling the players to have a different approach. So it's always those games we expect for them to be low scoring and low hit games. But yeah, like you said, Andrew, it's just been the batters throwing off these pitchers.
Luke Rising didn't have an earned run in 24 innings pitched before this game. Now has 4 in this game. And now taking off for second is Braden Horton on the 3rd ball on the count. 2 runners in scoring position. Double play now very unlikely. Robert Leach needs to take care of matters himself and strike out the batter if he wants this inning to go in the Americans' favor. But instead, it's an outside ball 4. Bases are all loaded up. There's nowhere to put the 0 for 3 Cooper Fesh. But don't let that 0 for 3 tally today deceive you. Cooper Fesh has been one of the best Muckdogs hitters all season, and Robert Leach in a serious jam with Fesh up to bat.
Yeah, Robert Leach here, fortunate not to give up a hit, so he's really going to be tested here with these bases loaded. And the one positive thing is a double play is alive here.
A double play available, and I'd argue if you weren't going to strike out the batter, a walk may be the next best outcome. Because now, the chance for the twin killing. 0-1 pitch to Tyler Castrotaro. Or rather, this is a pinch hitter for the Muckdogs, and it's a fly ball into left field. Caught for out number 2, but a sac fly for the pinch hitter. Or excuse me, that was Cooper Fesh. My apologies. Fesh, not a pinch hitter. Rather just number 3, Castrotaro, walked. But the sac fly for Fesh, and a run scores. Muckdogs lead 7-6 now, with runners on first and second for Jacob Vesco. 5-run inning to retake the lead for Batavia after the Americans took it back in the 5th inning for the first time today. A pump fake by Leach. And that makes Braden Horton scurry back to second. Castrataro on first, Horton on second. That's double steal potential with Vesco up to bat. Muckdogs, chance to bat around if Vesco gets on. It's an outside ball 1. Another thrilling game between these two teams. Seemingly every single game between these opponents has been a thriller. Even the ones that aren't very close, there's been some big moments, such as the Gavin Boyle home run on the July 4th loss. 1-1 on the count, swing and miss puts Vesco in the even count here. One pitch is a pop-up. Down the first base side, Miller chasing it down and is caught for out number 3. Graydon Miller with the excellent range, and each Muckdogs hitter comes up once, but that'll be it for the top of the 7th. However, Batavia retakes the lead. The Americans going to have to strike back in this bottom of the 7th after a 5-piece by Batavia. Every single one of those earned runs was charged to C.J. Hurley. That's a rough look for him, but we'll send it to the bottom of the 7th after the break.
No, I'm kind of thirsty.
Me too. We could really use something.
Yeah. Oh, thanks,
Yankee Doodle Dan.
That's better.
Hey fans, the Niagara Falls Americans would love to partner with your business. Americans have lots of options to make your presence known in your community. Please visit our website at www.niagarafallsamericans.com to get involved, and as always, go Americans.
We bring you back for the bottom of the 7th inning. The Muckdogs have retaken the lead with a 5-run 7th. They have a new pitcher on the bump. Irwin's Branch coming in out of the pen to relieve Evan Hollinsworth. 4th pitcher of the day, rather 3rd pitcher of the day for Batavia. Branch, a 6.11 ERA and 12 strikeouts. Branch warming up. And he will have Gavin Boyle, Graydon Miller, and Shane Prey due up. The only 3 hitters that didn't appear in inning number 6. However, this is really the heart of the Americans order coming up.
Yeah, you definitely got some dangerous hitters, and first up is Gavin Boyle, so it'll be an advantage here for Gavin Boyle with the lefty-on-righty approach here, so it'll be a test right out of the pen here for Irwin's Branch.
He has a 2-for-3 day. He's a double and a homer away from the cycle, and knowing his power, those are types of hits he can easily pick up.
Yeah, I mean, Gavin Boyle not known for his speed, but yeah, if he gets enough of a ball and drives it to the outfield, he could definitely have a stand-up double to have him on his way to a cycle, like you said, Andrew.
He hits some of these balls so far into the outfield, into the deep crevices, that he's able to get triples even without blazing speed on the base paths. Grounder foul down the first base line. Gavin Boyle leads the Americans in extra base hits this season. And he's had a good medley of all 3 types. 5 doubles, 3 triples, 3 homers. The 1 pitch is fouled off right behind him. Grant Moore second to him in the extra base knocks, but Grant Moore's without a homer this season. So hard to lead the team in extra bases without home runs, especially when Gavin has a trio. Here's the 0-2, and it's a high chopper. That takes one of the biggest hops of the night and lands foul.
Yeah, just fortunate enough there. That ball almost looked like it was going to stay fair on that first base sideline, but Gavin Boyle stays alive as that ball goes foul and goes back right up to the plate.
The Americans out hitting the Muckdogs right now, but they're looking to get back up in the score column as well.
Yeah, it'd be a great start to this inning if Gavin Boyle got on base or gets another homer on the season.
Boyle, the 0-2 pitch goes outside and wild, but nobody on the bases to punish Branch for that one.
Yeah, unfortunately it's not banana ball where you can steal first at any time, but if it was, Gavin probably would have made it easily into first base right there.
I mean, if it was banana ball, this game would be much lower scoring given the catches in the foul territories. 2-2 to Gavin, with nobody out and nobody on. Boyle looking to add some extra bases, get that tally up to 12. Swing and a miss instead. Gavin Boyle, his first strikeout of the night. And he's shown better patience at the plate of late, but I mean, almost every home run hitter, you're going to risk that high strikeout total. Boyle hacks and misses. First batter retired this inning, and Graydon Miller 0 for 3 on the day up next, but he's gotten plenty of hits off these Muckdogs. Can he do it here? Lights are officially on, and they have gotten brighter and brighter as this game has gone on. It's a one-run ball game with playoff berths on the line. Jamestown still leads Elmira. Score in the bottom of the sixth there is 11-5. The Auburn Doubledays took down the Red Wings 19-2. So the Doubledays also surpass the Americans if they lose this game. Would bring the Americans down to the 4 seed. And it's 0-2 to Graydon Miller. And it feels like no matter how you shake it, an Americans Muckdogs playoff matchup is pretty likely. Could be a 1-4, could be a 2-3, but a Muckdogs win here sends the Americans down to 4th place. And an Americans win here clinches their playoff berth, sends the Muckdogs into a tie for 1st place.
Yeah, it's a big game here for the Americans, and we'll see if they come back here, and it'll be a great showing for these playoffs if they win here.
Inside, right at Graydon Miller's chest right there. Makes it 2-2. Miller down to his final strike. And a line shot into right field, but caught by the second baseman, Caleb Walker. He cuts it off to prevent the hit for Graydon. Graydon Miller looking to break out of this slump and had a nice piece of that ball, but luck was not in his favor.
Yeah, Graydon Miller just thought he had a hit there as the Muckdogs tracked that ball down, and it's just an unfortunate day for Graydon Miller.
Shane Prey up next. He struck out looking his last 2 times up, popped out the first time around, and sends one foul to start it off here. And the Americans need more than hits. They have 10 of those. But need another run to tie this game and 2 more to win it. The 0-1 pitch, a breaking ball, breaks back into the strike zone. Backdoor slider, fools Prey. He doesn't bite. It's 0-2. Branch sets, looking for the final strike. And there's a little piece of it. Prey hits that into the infield, and it is ruled foul.
Yeah, if I had to assume there, Andrew, might have been off Prey's hand, possibly. If I had to guess.
I mean, that dribbled into the infield. I think Prey could have beaten that out for a single had it been fair.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with one off his hand or his leg maybe, but somehow stays alive for Prey here.
Here's the 0-2. Yeah, just finding a way to get it done. Takes an outside and low ball 1. Shane Prey praying he doesn't fall to the same fate as Graydon Miller, but looking to make some contact first. And there's a fly ball into right center field in the gap.
Oh!
And it drops. Shane Prey with a base hit right in between Hammond and Horton.
Yeah, that ball, even I lost the ball up here. I couldn't see where that one, and I guess the Muckdogs couldn't either, as 3 of them all just kind of created the Bermuda Triangle, and no one gets under it, so Shane Prey gets rewarded there.
And those prayers worked for Shane Avery.
Yeah,
Chris
definitely.
Gonzaldo up next. With the chance to advance Shane Prey, and look at that, Chris Gonzaldo represents the go-ahead run. Another big moment for Gonzaldo. He's 1 for 3 on the day, and he chops that foul for strike 1. Gonzaldo already has his hit of the day. It's a good sign for the Americans, but they need to get the job done to back him up. And Gonzaldo getting another hit would really help that case. 0-1 is right up the middle, backed up Branch, the throw to first in time for out number 3. So no run there, but the Americans still have a couple more innings to score 1. We'll send it to the top of the 8th as the Americans look to keep this a 1-run game. We'll be right back.
Fans, if you've been to a game, you know that I give away pizza to a lucky fan in the middle of the 3rd inning. But what you might not know is that Sammy's is located right across the street. They've also been family owned and operated for 3 generations since 1962 and originated the half tray of pizza. But if you're hungry at the game, you can stop by the concession stand and get a slice of Sammy's for yourself.
We welcome you back for the top of the 8th inning. This 8th inning brought to you by Seneca Niagara Resort and Casino, the official casino of the Americans. More winning, more comfort, more entertainment. Go to SenecaNiagaraCasino.com for more. Muckdogs lead by 1, looking to expand upon that. Robert Leach will pitch to Jackson Inman, Sean Mindas, and James Bolton. Inman up first, and as this inning gets underway, we'll give you another look around the PGCBL. The Tarp Skunks now lead by 7, 12-5 in the top of the 7th over Elmira. The Doubledays, their game is over. They won 19-2 over Geneva, so Auburn knocking on the door of 3rd place, and they have the tiebreaker over the Americans as they won all 3 games of the regular season series against Niagara Falls. Inman takes an outside ball to start things off. But the Tarp Skunks add another run, looking to add some more. And that'll help out the Americans if they do. Also get them a share of first place. It's 2-0 to number 2. Avery Vogt back with us. Jackson Inman came in batting .299. Has a hit today. Should be back above 300. As he's 1 for 3. But the strike finds the low edge for Robert Leach to keep him alive in this at-bat. Leach. Going to get back in this count. It's 2-0 early. Hinman fouls it off. 2's on the count. So number 2 on the jersey. Sean Mindas on deck. James Bolton in the hole, all due up this inning. Here's the 2-2. It's a breaking ball, and it's lined right to Chris Gazaldo for out number 1. A nice hook on that ball for Inman, but Gazaldo makes the grab.
Yeah, Gazaldo there's kind of a rocket back to him. Threw him off a little bit, but although he was shaking up a little bit, just still catches the ball, so it's a nice play there by Gazaldo.
And Inman dips back below 300 with that line out. 1 for 4 night. Sean Mindas is 0 for 3. Fly out, ground out, and a ground into fielder's choice. A great year, though. 19 RBIs on the season. Breaking ball, and that stays in for ball 1. Leach looking to finish out this game for Niagara Falls and give them a fighting chance. Americans need 1 more run to tie and 2 more to lead. And there's right down the pike, a low strike 1. One's across the board. Sean Mindas swings and misses. Mindas looking to recover after the strike. That's upstairs for ball 2, and Mindas staying patient there. Came into this game batting .330. Product of Keystone College alongside Cooper Fesh. High fly ball into left field. Headed towards foul territory and goes out of play.
Yeah, that ball right there had some distance on it as that went over the wall, but fortunate enough for the Americans, that went foul.
Mindas without a home run this season. This would be a big time for him to hit one. The Muckdogs looking to hang on to first place, get that West Division title, and guaranteed home field advantage through the playoffs. Upstairs at the helmet of Sean Mindas. Fill up this count. Robert Leach. Here's the payoff pitch. Swing and a miss. Sean Mindas strikes out for the first time tonight. He's been retired in 4 different ways. However, you got to get it done, but a strikeout is sweet for Robert.
Yeah, he just gets a nice swing and a miss there, so Leach doing very well here for the Americans.
James Bolton looking to avoid being the 3rd consecutive batter retired in this inning. In total, Leach has a 4 consecutive batter retired streak. Gave up the sac fly to Cooper Fesh, but that run was charged to C.J. Hurley alongside the others in that big 7th inning for Batavia. Strike 1 down the pike.
Yeah, just an update here, Andrew. The Blue Jays playing the Yankees. Blue Jays are up by 2 here, and it looks like Aaron Boone just got tossed as he's in the face of the home plate umpire.
Red Sox in a close game just like this one, as it's another swing and miss by Bolton for strike 2. Sox are 6-5 over the Phillies right now.
That's a good game.
Headed to the top of the 8th. They came back from down 5-0 too.
Wow.
Sox bats looking good. Similar to Batavia in this game, but it's a foul ball. Batavia was down 6-2, came all the way back. And also leading by 1 on the road, just like Boston. Leach just inside, making 1 and 2. Honestly, starting to think, I mean, all the listeners and all the viewers on this broadcast are baseball fans. Maybe got to sprinkle some MLB updates in addition to the PGCBL ones, but a foul tip behind the plate.
Yeah, I'd like to give a few updates here and there. I mean, especially with the Blue Jays, as hot as they've been, rocking the AL East and almost coming very close to the top of the AL with the Detroit Tigers.
And I mean, for friends of mine that would rather watch an MLB game over the Americans, will be a chance to get them to tune in, get some MLB updates in here. But that's another Strikeout, but an advance this time around. James Bolton gets to first on the wild pitch. 2 consecutive reaches of first base for James Bolton, but that one coming on the strikeout.
Yeah, that one was a little different there. I thought that there was a foul tip, but yeah, there's a pass ball. So after
Called
the
a pass ball, yes.
Still got to run around here for Batavia.
Justin Espinal up next. Espinal takes one low for ball 1. But yeah, I think that would draw in more viewers here on the broadcast. We got some major league updates in addition to the PGCBL ones. And there's a dribbler right down the first base line, and that is fair. Headed to second for a double. Justin Espinal gets Bolton to third as well. It's 2 runners in scoring position just like that.
Yeah, that ball just seemed to sneak past Graydon Miller. Unfortunately, I thought he would have had that ball on the little dribble, but yeah, it just sneaks past him, and Carpenter has to go in and grab that ball.
And now Travis Hammond up next. Hammond a walk, a ground out, and a single in this game. Has an RBI on the night. First pitch right down the pike, but low. Big pass. Bobbles it, but holds on. Can't afford wild pitches or pass balls here. Already had one pass ball that got Bolton to first base, and now he's all the way on third after the double by Justin Espinal. Justin Espinal living up to his American killer name. He has 2 extra base hits. He's a single and homer away from the cycle.
Yeah, Robert Leacher definitely going to have a challenge here with Espinal, but gets a nice strike in there, so he's going to have to try to keep the damage to a minimum here with 2 outs, so hopefully the ball can get into Graydon Miller's paw here to get the Americans out of this inning.
Espinal's already on second, but Hammond takes another strike. It's 1-2. Robert Leach 1 strike away from getting out of the jam. Earned runs were charged to Hurley, so can stay clean on his earned run record with a strikeout here. Drops low to make it 2s across the board. Wouldn't have an earned run anyways due to the pass ball, but don't want unearned runs either in this game. And that is dribbled foul. 2s across the board to number 3. Robert Leach open for 3s in the strike and out column before they come in the ball column. Maybe they'll come in both, but we'll see. 2-2 pitch. Breaking ball. Lined into left field. No 3s except out number 3. Caught by Gavin Boyle to end this top of the 8th and get the Americans out of the jam. We'll send it to the bottom of the inning. The Americans looking to come back after the 5-run 7th by Batavia. We'll be right back.
No, I'm kind of thirsty.
Me too. We could really use something.
Yeah. Oh, thanks.
Yankee Doodle Dan.
That's better.
Hey fans, we'd like to thank everyone for coming out to the park tonight. And remember that an Americans game is a great way to bring your group together, whether it's at school, church, business, or your sports organization. The Americans are also able to offer great options and even picnics for your organization or business. Reserve your group online at www.niagarafallsamericans.com.
As we return for the bottom of the 8th, final 3 hitters in the Americans order due up for the 4th time today. Nick Pass, Connor Kiefer, and Carm Panaro. Pass takes one inside and low for ball 1. Irwin's Branch still on the bump after coming in for Evan Hollinsworth to start the 7th inning. Hollinsworth gave up a run unearned in the 6th after some runs charged to Luke Rising in the 5th inning. It's 2-0 on the low ball to Pass. Branch has been throwing it low to start things off here. Branch sets for the 2-0 pitch. And that's dribbled into the shallow infield. Drops fair. No, they're going to rule it foul. I mean, it dropped to the fair side of the foul line, but.
Yeah, that one there, it seemed like Pass hit it and then didn't seem to take off for first. So, yeah, I guess the ump ruled a foul ball there.
Probably was over the foul side before it landed fair, which would mean it's foul to begin with. Nick Pass still with the count in his favor. Low for ball 3, this time on the outside corner. Can Pass walk to start off this inning? Get a base runner on for Connor Kiefer, who's singled today. Came in the infield, but single nonetheless. That's inside. Pass takes a walk. Nearly got hit for the 16th time this season, but
yeah,
instead ball 4.
There was a little bit of chin music there for Nick Pass as he had to back up just a tad to not get hit by that ball. But, yeah, like you said, he gets on base regardless. So the go-ahead run here is in Connor Kiefer at the plate.
Connor Kiefer with a big opportunity. The center fielder in the 8th position, also in the 8 hole in the lineup. But number 1 has a runner on first. Just like the zeros on the count, Connor Kiefer will help the Americans get their magic number down to 0. It's an inside ball 1. Almost feels inevitable with where Branch is throwing this. He didn't hit Nick Pass, but Pass and Kiefer, the 2 most beaten Americans this season, it almost feels inevitable that Kiefer gets whacked here.
Yeah, Kiefer,
sure hope not.
Yeah, so Kiefer had to pull back real fast there, but yeah, it came real close to Kiefer there.
The 1-0 pitch, and that almost whacks him again. It's lower, but it's 2-0. Hit by pitch leaders for the Americans in order. Nick Pass with 15. And then it's Kiefer with 9, tied with Graydon Miller. Pickoff attempt unsuccessful at first base. Passed. Barely budges. Kiefer. Go! Go, 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 there's an errant throw on the pickoff attempt. Nick Pass headed for second. Can he take third as well? He's still going. The throw not in time, even close. Nick Pass gets 2 bases. The error on that pickoff attempt at first base, and Nick Pass takes advantage.
Yeah, Nick Pass there showing off his unconventional wheels, using his long getaway sticks there to go from first all the way to third on the error throw to first. So now we got no outs with a runner in scoring position here for the Americans.
Muckdogs with 3 errors now. And like I said, smart base running. That's what Nick Pass thrives on. Any wild pitch here, and Pass is going home. He represents the tying run. Kiefer takes a strike low. Irwin's Branch not giving up on this at bat yet. But the Americans in this bottom of the 8th inning looking to take back this lead and give Robert Leach a chance to close it out and get the win. That's a high pop-up right behind home plate. 2's on the count now. Kiefer looking to avoid the strikeout here. But even if he does, Campanaro is on deck, and there's still nobody out here. Branch The 2-2 pitch is flown into left field. Goes more left center, but it's caught by Mindas for out number 1. He moves over a bit to make the catch. Connor Kiefer retired. Nick Pass scores on the sac fly.
Very productive at bat there for Kiefer. Gets a couple pitches, then drives one up to left field and scores in Nick Pass. So now we got a tie game on our hands here, Andrew.
7-7. And every batter coming up now representing the tying run until the Americans can get more runners on base. But a nice sac fly for Kiefer to bring up Carmen Panaro with empty bases in a tie game. There's a liner into right field.
Nice.
It drops for a base hit and more.
Go.
Carmen Panaro headed for second. And
Keep
he
on,
gets
keep
the
on.
double and more.
Here he goes. Yes.
A triple for Carmen.
Wow. Carmen Panaro just drives that into the semi-shallow right center field and just takes a nice bounce so he can advance all the way to third. So just a nice piece of hitting right there by Carm.
Now Carmen Panaro representing the go-ahead run in scoring position. Alan Ramos up next. It's the second triple of the game for the Americans, the third total. These balls are flying tonight. Panaro has a single and triple, as does Gavin Boyle. 2-hit games for each of them. Ian Wang has a trio of singles. Makes for 3 Americans with multiple hits in this game.
Yeah, the Americans just really getting their bats out here with 12 hits, and they're coming when they need it as they tie the game there. And now we got Ramos, I believe, still looking for his first hit, so this would be a great time for him to get that.
And we've said all season the Americans go as far as their bats get hot. That's usually how it goes. And the bat's hot right in time for playoffs. Ramos down 0-1. And a swing and a foul ball down the third base side. Paul Wolf picks it up, the third base coach, making a play.
Yeah, doesn't want to get too tired out there on third base. Standing around throwing some signs, so he's going out there showing his reach and then grabbing that ball.
This one outside to keep Ramos alive. Ramos has gotten on in 3 different ways: hit by pitch, walk, and single. Extra bases would be nice for him here, likely scores Panaro. Check swing, pulled back in time. For the outside ball 2. A walk or a hit by pitch for the second time will put runners on the corners for Ian Wang. Will be back on the left side where he got all 3 of his hits to face Irwin's Branch for the 5th time this game. Just 1 down, so he likely comes up. And there's a grounder, the throw home. Panaro headed back to third. He's caught in a rundown. Ramos reaches first, headed for second, taking advantage of the
he's safe.
fact that
Go!
he throws Panaro.
Yes!
Has not been tagged yet. Comes
Let's
back
go!
into third. He's safe. There's 2 runners in scoring position. Oh my goodness. Everybody's safe. A fielder's choice with no out recorded. Fielders made the wrong choice.
Yeah, now and Skip Martinez going out there giving the ump a piece of his mind. Doesn't seem very happy with him.
Martinez thought the tag was made on Carmen Panaro for out number 2.
But I mean, from our perspective here, I thought very clearly he didn't tag Carmen at all. I mean, he came close, but he definitely didn't touch him. So
Carmen Panaro, in his honor, channeling his inner Grant Moore. Grant Moore, the only base runner who I've seen dodge a tag like that in a rundown.
Yeah, that was
before Carmen Panaro.
That was a play right there by Carmen Panaro. He just, I mean, slithers his way out of that play and made his bay whack in the third base. So now we got 2 runners in scoring position with a new pitcher coming in for the Muckdogs.
Yeah, Skip Martinez's frustration convinces him to go to the bullpen. Because if it wasn't on the umps, must be on the pitcher.
Yeah, and unfortunately here, though, Andrew looks like a lefty coming here for the Muckdogs, so Huang will have to bat from the right side, barring any pitching changes from now.
That's a smart decision for Skip Martinez. He knows that Huang's done better from the left side.
Yeah, and especially with Gavin Boyle coming up, too. He's got to watch the lefty on lefty with the advantage, and then, yeah, like you said, Ian Wang got to switch over to the right side again.
Will be interesting, though, if Huang makes the gutsy call to stay on the left side. We'll see what he does here. It's the hitter's choice at the end of the day. Usually you default to the opposite side, but might be worth a go given his results tonight.
Yeah, with Wang batting terrific from the left side, you might wonder if he risks taking the left on left, but you never know. It's like you said, Andrew, it's always the batter's choice, so we'll see.
A lot different on the season, but in the game, he's an 1,000 batting average from the left side. We'll give you word on who the reliever is in just a moment. Jake Sliss coming in out of the pen. Pitched 1 1/3 2 days ago against Jamestown. Sliss has a .257 ERA and 18 strikeouts. No decisions for him yet, but a chance for a decision here. 7-7 ball game. Ramos on second, Panaro on third, and you know what this combo of base runners has tended to do in this game.
Yeah.
Any wild pitch, they could come home.
Yeah, I mean, when you got these two guys, I mean, Carmen's definitely got some wheels in him. He's definitely not one of the fastest guys, but he's definitely got some wheels, and yeah, Ramos is definitely one of the quicker guys as well. So when you got these two on the base paths, you never know, like we said. So it's going to be a quick watch here at the home plate. So if anything gets away, or if even there's just a dribbler in the infield, you might see someone come home here.
Yeah, only one down and nobody on first base. There might be an argument to intentionally walk Wang, but that would bring up Gavin Boyle with the bases juiced. And I don't think that's something this pitcher, Jake Sliss, wants to see either, even though it would be a left-on-left matchup. But for Carmen Panaro, I mean, I'd describe his base running more as shifty, elusive. And honestly, it makes me think, that's what I like in an NFL running back. He'd make a good running back.
Yeah, I say sometimes you see guys like that, kind of like a James Cook-esque kind of player. Maybe not the fastest guy, but he's definitely got the moves to get him out of any tight spots like Carm was in that run down there.
0-1 on the count to Ian Wang here. But yeah, I mean, my favorite shifty running back, not on my hometown Patriots, but DeAndre Swift I've always been a fan of.
He's got a fitting name like that, though.
Yeah, exactly. Shifty Swifty. But the
he
is not in time. Carmen Panaro scores on the attempted throw home. The grounder gives another fielder's choice attempt, but not in time, and it's an infield single for Ian Wang. His 4th hit of the day, his second 4-hit game of the season. Those both came against Batavia, and Ian Wang has 11 hits in 4 games against the Muckdogs.
And even better, too, Alan Ramos advances to third, so still another runner in scoring position here now for Gavin Boyle.
Gavin Boyle up with a 1-run lead. The Americans have retaken it in this inning. Panaro was the go-ahead run. Ramos now merely represents insurance for these Americans. But Gavin Boyle with a good opportunity to drive in that insurance. That will not be a single, rather. Another fielder's choice. That's the wrong choice for the Muckdogs. But it's 0-1 to Gavin Boyle. Sliss. And it's a foul down the third base side for Gavin. It's 0-2. Boyle struck out his last time up, but has a single and triple tonight. It'll be sweet for him to hit a double or homer here. I mean, if the Americans hold on, won't have the chance to finish his cycle, but it's low for ball 1 on Gavin Boyle. But the Americans taking the lead back in this 8th inning. Gavin Boyle looking to expand on it. It's another outside ball. 2-2 to Boyle. He's still alive. Chance to add some more. Sharpskunks lead the Pios 13-6. Americans could have their playoff berth tonight if they hold on, and the count is full on Boyle. Pioneers did just get a triple, so they're threatening in the top of the 8th. But these games with high playoff stakes for the Americans and Muckdogs both. High fly ball into right field, goes back, and that one is caught for out number 2 at the warning track. Gavin Boyle sends another one down the first base line. Could have been his 4th homer, but falls just short. Yep. Oh my goodness, this has been a crazy inning.
Yeah, that ball had some distance on it, but not an unproductive at bat as Ramos comes home to score, so now the Americans lead by 2.
Alan Ramos scores. It's a sac fly for Gavin Boyle. 9-7 Americans. There's the insurance they needed. Graydon Miller with the chance for more, and another hard hit ball. This goes foul. It's 0-1. The Tarpskunks lead the Pioneers 13-6. And now a high fly ball by Miller into left field. That falls short, and it's caught by Sean Mindas. Couple that went to the warning track, but the Americans up by 2. We send it to the top of the 9th after the break. Holy mackerel.
My fellow American fans, my name is Frankie Morris, your social media manager. You can join us all summer long with many promotional nights and tickets just as low as $10. You can call and get tickets at 716-215-6161 and take a crack at the action.
Welcome back for the top of the 9th. Robert Leach on the mound looking for the win as the Americans lead by 2 runs. This 9th inning brought to you by Casella, Solino Plumbing, Blaze Rockway Contracting, and Wright Beverages. Robert Leach with the chance for victory in this top of the 9th inning. And depending on the outcome in Jamestown and Elmira, the Americans could have their playoff berth locked up tonight with a win here. That's right down the first base line. Hwang to Miller for out number 1. Caleb Walker retired. And now a big test for Robert Leach. Braden Horton and Tyler Castrotaro due up. Represent the final 2 potential outs for these Americans. One down on the Walker ground out. The Muckdogs second baseman to the Americans' own second baseman, and now it's Braden Horton, the leadoff man. Strike 1 on the outside edge. Leach set for the 0-1 pitch here. Horton finds himself at 1 for 3 on the day and sends it down the left side, foul. A pop out, a line out, a single, and a walk for Braden tonight. Looking to get on base for the third time and threaten to tie up this game. With the Americans looking to end it right here. Robert Leach has 2 strikes. And he throws one low and nearly gets away from pass, but that's called for strike 3. Outside corner, see you later. Braden Horton strikes out looking. Tyler Castrataro up next. And he is the final hope for the Batavia Muckdogs. A close call, but it's strike 3. And now a low ball 1 to the new batter, Tyler. Castrataro is also 1 for 3 today with a 2-run single as well as a walk. The product of Hofstra. Leach. Ready, the 1-0. And it's a high pop-up. Down the first base side goes foul. As of right now, the Jamestown Tarpskunks up 13-8 on the Elmira Pioneers. The Pios are rallying, but if Jamestown's lead holds and the Americans get this final out, playoffs are on the way for Niagara Falls. Another foul ball, it's 1-2. Robert Leach down to his final strike. Castrataro up to bat. The final hope for Batavia. Leach, the 1-2 pitch. It's outside to put 2s across the board, ironically to number 1. Leach. A big pitch coming up with this count even. Can end the game right here. Will he do it? It's a ground ball. Huang throws it to Miller at first. That's the game. The Americans win. And with a Jamestown lead, if they hold on, the Americans will clinch a playoff berth later tonight. They do it on the comeback in the 8th inning and win this game 9-7. What a win for the Americans. And this is out of their hands right now. But if Elmira loses either tonight or to the Americans on Friday, Niagara Falls is in the playoffs for the first time in team history. However, the next game will be an out-of-leaguer, and this is going to be a fun one. You'll get to see me out there on the diamond as well as the rest of the Americans interns. Power City coming to town. The players will get a day off. The interns will take a turn. The intern game will be live on the Americans Baseball Network tomorrow night at 6:30. And then on Friday, the Americans travel to Elmira. And if that playoff berth is not locked up tonight, the Americans will have a chance to do it themselves against Elmira on Friday evening. And Avery has hopped off the call, but we'd like to thank him for coming on tonight. And for all our viewers, thank you so much for tuning in. Final score from Niagara Falls, Americans 9, Muckdogs 7. The Americans with their 27th win of their season. We'll see you tomorrow night.